but talk a lot about drills and fundamentals.
Watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it!
With Kevin Bowen.
Watch it!
On 93.5 and 107.5.
Boom, baby!
The Fan.
Good Wednesday morning. Thank you for tuning into the Fan Morning Show. Kevin Bowen, Mike Wells back. Wells will be here again on Thursday. We got a lot of Colts stuff to get to with kickoff for Sunday season opener coming at 1 o'clock. We're going to give our season predictions here over the next couple of days. And Colts released their first depth chart of the 2021 season yesterday. I know a lot of people that haven't maybe seen training camp or, obviously the starters didn't play a whole lot in the preseason. They got a lot of takeaways on that. So Wells and I will dive into that. Stephen Holder at 8 o'clock covers the Colts for The Athletic. Wrote a great piece on DeForest Buckner the other day. We'll talk to Stephen and then Matthew Berry. I know we've been trying to have him on for about the past week or so. Hopefully get to him at 9:30 for those that love the pop quiz, 9:40, 9:45 for that today. But a lot of Pacers news to get to and not good news on that front. TJ Warren, we'll get to that as well. But Wells, appreciate you showing up on time today.
Listen, I'm just glad I got invited back for another day. So I must not have failed the test yesterday. Or you just didn't have anybody else you can turn to.
I was going to say they invited Doyle back for a second day, so I think after your performance yesterday, you were good. So yeah, Mike Wells again today and tomorrow. I do want to plug right out of the gate. We got Beers with Bowen tonight. You guys might have heard it there in the commercial. So JMV will be live from Bullseye Event Group or Bullseye Event Center, I should say, from 3 to 6. And then we'll be starting Beers with Bowen at 6:30, giving away 2 tickets to the home opener against the Seattle Seahawks, along with 2 tickets to every single Colts VIP tailgate this season at Bullseye Event Center. It's awesome tailgate, all you can eat, all you can drink, starting 3 hours before kickoff. So come on out for that.
What is Beers with Bowen? Like, I'm not being a smart ass this early in the morning. I need about 5 more minutes before I do that. But
you're on camera today, so by the way.
Oh yeah, let me take my mask.
I know you're rocking your mask down on the chin. I don't know if you want to take that off or you just gonna rock that.
I'm gonna take it off once you explain what Beers with Bowen is.
So yeah, Beers with Bowen. Chris Presley and I will be talking Colts, previewing the season opener. Leading into Sunday, and it's just basically kind of an interactive podcast. We've been trying to do it in person, obviously, for about the past year plus, and haven't been able to, so we've done a virtual, but kind of a live podcast, very interactive, and like I said, if you want a chance to win the grand prize pack, you got to come out for it, and basically just a chance to meet some people and drink some beer and talk some Colts.
So basically what you're telling me what is, you're a superstar now, that people have an opportunity to come out and hang out, have a couple of brewskis, with the Kevin Bowen.
Not at all. No.
No, stop being humble, man. That's my one pet peeve with you.
Simply just like JMV does his remote shows often, the backyard barbecue stuff, or today, like he's at Bullseye Event Center. Just a chance to come on out and,
Kevin,
talk,
here's
chat,
the thing.
Have a beer.
You are probably one of the most humble people I've known in my going on 17 years living in Indianapolis. It's okay to be confident. I mean, just act like you're striping it right down the middle on the fairway, man. You know you're gonna go right down the middle.
This is just beers and talking football.
Yeah, but with you though, they're not hanging out with Bubba the Chump or whatever at Beat Ups. They're hanging out with Kevin Bowen.
Who is Bubba the Chump?
I don't know. I just made that name up right quick. They're hanging out with Kevin Bowen and having beers with you and talking Colts, and I'm sure they'll probably ask about the media and who, try to get some inside scoop and all that type of stuff, talk golf with you. So this is a great opportunity.
You going to come out?
No.
What do you got better to do?
Let me say, I got soccer practice in Zionsville for the son. Daughter's got a basketball workout, so yeah. No offense, but I'd rather hang out with my kids. Besides, 3 hours in studio and then a couple hours on West 56th Street with you, that's enough for me.
Oh, man, jeez. Ringing endorsement there from Mike Wells.
I told you I just needed 5 minutes to be a smart ass.
At KBowen1070, at Mike Wells NFL. On Twitter, we are available on YouTube. Like I said, Wells and I both on camera today. So
y'all fixed the camera. Thank you, Marky.
You can check us out over there. But the big news from yesterday, kind of late yesterday, I think it happened kind of the final hour of JMV's show, and not great news on the Pacers front. TJ Warren his rehab not going according to plan. Rick Carlisle and the Pacers thought he'd be full go for training camp. The Pacers released this press release, and I quote here, TJ Warren's stress fracture in his left foot is healing during the rehabilitation process, but not at the pace previously anticipated. He remains out indefinitely, and further updates will be provided as warranted. Pacers open up training camp in less than 3 weeks. Wells, in your history of covering the Pacers, the Colts, various sports teams, typically when you see a press release like that in the quietest time of the offseason, that means what?
The odds of playing probably have really dwindled, because think about this. When did TJ Warren go out for the season? Or actually, when did he, basically get injured and they shut him down? What is the timetable on that?
Yeah, TJ Warren played 4 games last season.
Okay.
Remember, the Pacers and the whole NBA obviously had a late start to the season, had surgery in early January, and they ruled him out for good. I believe the day of the trade deadline, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so that's January. We are early September. And he's still out indefinitely? That's not a good sign. And I'm the wrong person to be asking about guys coming back from injury. Andrew Luck, Danny Granger. I mean, I've dealt with my fair share of guys.
When is Granger going to play? Do you have an update on that?
I've dealt with my fair share of guys who have dealt with injuries that have kept them out. Jermaine O'Neal. So I'm the wrong person to say, am I surprised by this? Because in reality, nothing surprises me with guys getting injured right now.
And, typically, again, Wells, we are less than 3 weeks away from training camp. The Pacers open up their season on October 20th. Just reading the whole PR game to it, if you're going to send out this press release, I mean, that means TJ Warren's not getting on the court anytime soon, right?
Yeah, because here's the thing. Nobody was asking about TJ Warren.
No one.
It's not like it was media day yesterday.
There's no media availability for a couple more weeks.
And nobody said, hey Rick, Coach Carlisle, how's TJ Warren coming along? This came out of the blue, like you said. It came out late in the day. JMV talked about it on the show and everything. So for them to come out and put it out unsolicited, that is not a good sign. I'm telling you, Jimmy Butler's still waiting for TJ Warren to return.
Oh boy, I forgot about that. Yeah.
He's still waiting for him to come back.
TJ Warren tweeted a few weeks back that he was playing basketball, for what it's worth. So clearly a setback from that. And when you look at the Pacers, well, I guess you can look at this a couple of ways, Wells. First, it absolutely sucks for TJ Warren. The guy just turned 28 years old. He's entering a contract year. If he's going to miss any sort of period of time in this season, that obviously is going to hurt his ability to get that first real payday. I mean, this guy was a late lottery pick, but when the Pacers traded for him from Phoenix, they absorbed a very reasonable contract. It's not like TJ Warren has signed some mega deal that he would hope to sign. This was supposedly going to be it. Now, we'll see how it all transpires and unfolds from here. But there was some debate. Do you give him an extension? Things like that. And now we're talking about a foot injury.
First of all, there's no debate anymore. There's no debate about giving an extension. And this is no knock on TJ. I mean, I don't know him. I've never met the guy. He seems like a very nice guy. David West, a former Pacer, vouches for him.
Right.
But the reality is, in order to get paid, you got to be on the court. Look at Victor Oladipo rolled the dice on himself. And look at him. He had to go out there and take the veteran minimum because he thought he could stay healthy. This is a show me. Professional sports is a show me type of situation.
Especially when you have injury history like Warren.
You have to be reliable and productive to get paid. And right now, TJ Warren is neither of those two. And it's a very unfortunate, because you think about it, they wanted to be able to put Warren with LeVert, Malcolm Brogdon, Sabonis, JMV's boy Miles Turner. They want to be able to have a nice core starting five for Rick Carlisle to build around. Now you're like, all right, who's going to step in and start for TJ Warren until Warren comes back?
Before we get to that, if you look at the Pacers schedule, like I said, October 20th is their season opener. They've got their first Western trip in, I think it's mid-November, and that is a trip where you also have some road games immediately when you come back. You only have one home game. It's an 8-game stretch where 7 are on the road, and the one home game is Philadelphia. So when you start to look at the schedule,
you mean against Miles Turner's big brother, Joel Embiid?
I would say daddy, but yes, I mean it's a very difficult start to the schedule, in my opinion. So you got to factor that in, depending on when TJ Warren is going to get back. And Wells, this really comes back to the whole root of why I was so disappointed in the Pacers offseason, in that they just frankly decided to run it back. So many people told me, well, this team has never been healthy. You got to give them a chance. That is such a hopeful, wishful thinking process. Look at TJ Warren's career. as much as, like you just said, Wells, TJ Warren, comes from a David West cloth, seems to love the game of basketball. Like, there's so much of TJ Warren that you love about him. His injury history is right up there, probably more so than Malcolm Brogdon. If you look at his career, he's averaged, I think, to miss over 30 games per season in his career. And you look at Brogdon, and Brogdon is average to miss around 20 games or so. And Brogdon missed big playoff games in Milwaukee as well. Like, hoping and wishing that the Pacers are going to stay healthy is just such a not facing the reality of how this team is.
No, KB, call it what it is. It's idiotic if you're hoping a guy can stay healthy. A key component. We're not talking about a backup or the 9th or 10th man on the roster. If you are hoping,
two of your most important players.
Yeah, if you're hoping somebody can stay healthy from a front office standpoint or a coaching standpoint, that's idiotic in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because the resume speaks for itself. You just ran off the fact that TJ Warren has missed so many games per season. There's no way in hell I'm giving TJ Warren a contract. In fact, I'm saying, TJ, we love you to death, but we need you to be healthy first, and then we will address it during the offseason once you prove you can stay on the court and then produce for us.
And to me, Wells, yes, it's I wouldn't have given him a contract extension, but it goes back to how you've built this team in that, again, it's ignorant hope to think that all of a sudden, as these guys near the age of 30, that TJ Warren, who's coming off a major foot injury, is going to stay healthy for the next handful of years. Or Malcolm Brogdon is all of a sudden going to stay magically healthy. Like, I hope to play Augusta National one day. It's not happening.
Yes, it will.
You hope that every PGA pro in the state is listening, so they invite you to play their golf course for free. But
wait, listen. The odds of that happening are pretty high.
It has happened to a few places. There are some that are just like, shut up, I'm not bringing that guy out to play.
Shout out to Prairie View CU on Friday morning.
Out to play this golf course. And that, again, that gets back to the whole, like, yes, you haven't seen this starting five and you want to see it together. We all want to see it together. But it's not going to happen. Like, that's not the reality of how TJ Warren and Malcolm Brogdon stayed healthy. And it goes back to my issue with Kevin Pritchard in that I feel like it's so much hope that, like, I've constructed this roster. We've got to stick with it. We're going to roll with the two bigs. This is not how you construct a roster in today's NBA.
You mentioned a great name, Kevin Pritchard. I don't think he gets enough criticism.
No,
I don't think he
Feet
gets criticised.
have to be to the fire.
I don't think he gets criticized enough.
Yeah,
It was Nate McMillan's fault before, and then I don't even want to. What Nate? Bjorken? It was his fault last year. At what point is it Kevin Pritchard and Chad Buchanan's fault for the way the roster is?
I've said this before, Wells, and you'll know this full well with your history of covering various NBA teams. When you take the job in a market like the Indiana Pacers, part of what comes with being the team president of a franchise in this type of market, smallish, is that you have to draft well. Like, that is a prerequisite, more so than, free agency and trades and all of that. You have got to draft well to maintain and sustain any sort of level of success. They haven't drafted well. They've built a roster with, there's a reason why Phoenix and Milwaukee were like, well, we like Warren, we like Brogdon, but they can't really stay healthy, so we're going to give them up and try to rebuild. And clearly it's worked out for both of those franchises as well. So those are major, major issues. We'll get into a little bit later. Starting lineup and just, how that should unfold from there.
Oh my God. Hey, you said not drafted well. They've drafted atrocious. I'm looking at their draft picks. What do you classify Aaron Holiday as a good draft pick?
Hell no.
Okay.
No chance.
So you got to go back to 2015.
Which is that Larry?
Yeah. You know what? I'm not sure. But you know what? Pritchard was on staff still, though. So we'll lump him in there. Miles Turner, 2015. Beyond that, Cassius Daly, Goga, Elise Johnson. Oh, God. Should I even say the name Leaf? And I'm not talking about Ryan Leaf either. I can go on and on.
You say TJ Leaf, people will drive off the road. And honestly, Wells, if you go back to the Portland days, I know we brought up Odin yesterday, but even putting Odin to the side, some of those other picks that he had in Portland with much higher draft picks as well. So,
Holy beep, KB. I am looking at the Pacers draft picks. I will give them Miles Turner. I'm going to give Miles. I mean, he's a double-double on any given night and a rim protector, weak side rim protector. You got to go back to 2010, Paul George.
Right. And again,
this franchise has
to be
been
fair,
bad.
Kevin hasn't drafted, all of those, or wasn't leading those drafts, I should say. But you go back to those Portland days, and it's an ugly resume as well. We'll get a little bit into the whole starting debate later of who should slide into the starting lineup, assuming that TJ Warren is going to miss a little bit of time. He's Mike Wells. I'm Kevin Bowen. Again, Stephen Holder at 8 o'clock covers the Colts for The Athletic. Matthew Berry, the ESPN fantasy guru, joins us hopefully at 9:30. Colts' first real practice of the regular season. We'll get an injury report and everything today. Obviously, a critical step in Carson Wentz. As long as he takes the majority of reps, we expect him to be the starter. We'll get into that as well. Some depth chart takeaways, too. You'll listen to Fan Morning Show here with Kevin Bowen and Mike Wells on 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
From Pro Football Focus is Austin Gale. Who is a rookie in the NFL that you think can contribute right away?
I think one of the more impressive stars, Kwity Paye. Kwity Paye has played fantastically this preseason. He is off to a mighty hot start. I think he's going to make an impact probably sooner than people think. One of the highest pass rush win rates of any player this preseason. He was the #1 graded rookie right ahead of Michael Parsons.
The Ride with JMV.
Weekdays 3 to 6
on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Mortgage rates drop again, creating opportunities for refinancing everywhere. How much can you save? Let's find out now. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
NMLS number 1326-241.
Hey, it's JMV. The Colts are back. It's BullseyeEventGroup.com. The Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. That is your pregame party before the Colts and the Seahawks battle. BullseyeEventGroup.com.
The goblet has dropped. Caesars Sportsbook is here. Download it. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and up.
Hey, it's Jimmy Cook here to tell you about PicksWise, the #1 home of free sports betting picks. Visit PicksWise.com today and make your next bet better. Never visited PicksWise.com before? Well, you need to. Why? Because they are indeed free. You'll see countless sites that tout selling you a month of picks and then offering you an extra free month if their plays fail to make a profit. If you're tired of losing money and paying for picks, then bookmark PicksWise.com and enjoy their daily free picks. The PicksWise team of trend-watching, data-devouring sports fanatics will help you wade through the minutia and give you the who, how, and why behind the what for every prediction they make. Go to PicksWise.com and see for yourself why they are the #1 home of free sports betting picks, props, and parlays. PicksWise.com for every game and every sport, all for free. PicksWise.com. Make your next bet better. PicksWise backs responsible gambling. If you or someone you know wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, we're OfferPad, the new way homes are sold. Go to OfferPad.com, tell us about your home, and we'll send you a great cash offer. Or, if that's not your style, we can also list your home with tons of free OfferPad services, free handyman fixes, house cleaning, yard work, and more to get your home show ready. We can even advance renovation costs to maximize your home's value. Whatever way you want to sell, you're sold with OfferPad. Sell your way today at OfferPad.com. Terms and conditions apply. Real estate brokerage services provided by OfferPad Brokerage LLC. Equal housing opportunity.
Running a business comes with pressure. Remote workforces, HR compliance, retaining top talent. You start to feel boxed in. Fortunately, there's Insperity. They put 30-plus years of HR service and technology to work, offering my employees competitive benefit options while lightening my HR load. Instead of obstacles, I'm surrounded by people empowered to be their best. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo.
What is the present? Well, it's the perfect time to call Golden Oak to find out how much money you can save. Home values are up, which means you have more equity than you think. There's no time like the present to take advantage of our low 2.25% rate. Visit GoldenOakLending.com today.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Bet Rivers Sportsbook is ready to make this football season one to remember. All season long, you can score at Bet Rivers Sportsbook with free bets, odds boosts, and more. With player props, thousands of game lines, and live in-game betting, Bet Rivers Sportsbook delivers a best-in-class sports betting experience and has an experienced customer service team to back it up. Visit Bet Rivers Sportsbook today and bet this football season with a local trusted team that puts you first. Go to to BetRivers.com and be a winner. Partner of French Lick Casino Resort. Must be 21 or over to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448. Playable only in Indiana.
The most important financial decision you'll make isn't picking the next hot stock or fund manager. It's choosing the right financial advisor. How do you pick the advisor that's right for you? Find out in a special encore presentation of our virtual event with Rick Edelman on Tuesday, September 14th at 3 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. It's free. Register at EdelmanFinancialEngines.com. You'll get advice on how to select the right financial advisor, and you'll get a list of the 11 questions to ask before hiring one. Take this list with you when you interview financial advisors, and if you already have one, use the checklist to evaluate if they are right for you. You will get all the information you need, and Rick will make it fun and entertaining. It's free, so register right now for a special encore presentation of our virtual event on September 14th at 3 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. Register at EdelmanFinancialEngines.com. That's EdelmanFinancialEngines.com.
You need a work schedule that fits your life, and Amazon has shifts that help make the best use of your time. Whether you're a night owl, early bird, weekend warrior, or somewhere in between, discover the benefits of thinking outside the 9 to 5. You decide whether to seize the day or the night so you can get back to what matters most. Go to Amazon.com/shifts to learn more. That's Amazon.com/SHIFTS. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
My crusade for the perfect pizza crust has led me here, pining over a backyard wood-fired oven. But how do I bake this build into my budget? Where can I get some solid guidance on my finances? Who can help me understand if I have the dough for this?
A little financial advice. At Regions, we know that's important because your Life Green checking account comes with Greenprint, financial planning with a banker who will help you create a personal budget and live in the moment. Make your appointment at Regions.com/Greenprint. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
What makes one head of lettuce better than another? At Kroger, we take scrutinizing freshness to a whole new level, where only the best of the best will do. That means not every leafy green leaves the field, and not every grape makes the grade. So when you shop Kroger, you know it's not just fresh, it's fresher than fresh. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Treat the family to the freshest, juiciest snack around. California Red or Black Seedless Grapes are on sale now for only 97 cents a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
The Sports Center update on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan is presented by Big O Tires, the team you trust.
All right, it is the first official regular season practice for the Colts later today. We'll have an injury report. Eric Fisher eligible for his first practice of the entire 2021 offseason, or I guess now into the regular season as well. Yesterday it was coordinator day for the Colts. Marcus Brady on Eric Fisher potentially playing.
I mean, we're going to deal with that once we know that he's able to play. You know, we're not there yet. We're getting close, but we're not there yet.
Well, it's a pretty non-answer for Marcus Brady. I think that's another indicator that we don't expect Eric Fisher on Sunday.
I guess it would help if I turn my microphone on instead of responding to people on YouTube right now.
Oh boy!
You know what?
YouTube commenters can be a little feisty.
Oh, that's okay. You know, I'm always ready for a good trash talking battle. Yes, Marcus Brady, was not. He definitely did not sound like Eric Fisher's close to playing, which hopefully increases my odds of finally beating you to bet. And B, as I put into the group text yesterday that we had with the media guys, it seemed like Marcus Brady wanted to be anywhere but on Zoom when he was talking to us during the coordinator session. So take it both ways, but reality is Brady did not give any indication that Eric Fisher is ready to go this week, which I think we agreed on yesterday that it would not be good for him to get on try to play this soon.
I think that's a question too, Wells. Like, does he even practice back-to-back days? You know, he hasn't been on a football field since late January, so I think that's a question for Frank Reich later today. It's a 1 o'clock kick on Sunday. Our airwaves, Matt Taylor, Rick Venturi, and Lara Overton. It'll be on Fox here locally. That's Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, and Sarah Walsh. Seahawks favored by 2.5. Over-under is 49.5. So, what's that, 26, 24, 27, 24, something along those lines for the Seahawks. So,
do you bet? Are you a gambler?
Oh yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, what's your sport that you like to?
Well, I definitely bet a lot of golf over the past few months, but yeah, I mean, I certainly sprinkle into the football world as well.
I know you won't be shocked when I tell you this, but
You don't bet?
I'm too cheap to bet.
No shock there whatsoever.
That does not go into the category of breaking news.
The Seahawks, big news from yesterday, Dwayne Brown is going to play. They're left tackle, veteran left tackle, so the Kwity Paye competition, is going to look a little different than what he saw in training camp in the preseason.
Listen, Dwayne Brown is no Sam Tevye.
No,
so
no.
We're about to really see what Kwity Paye is all about. And, just talking to Matt Eberflus, the defensive coordinator yesterday, he's gushing for Kwity Paye. He loves talking about the young man because Kwity Paye plays the way Matt Eberflus coaches his defense.
Right.
Fast, and pursue the ball. And that's what Kwity Paye is 100%.
The Bucs are favored by 8 over the Cowboys. That's tomorrow night as the NFL gets underway. Again, Matthew Berry, ESPN fantasy expert, going to join us at 9:30. Not good news on the Pacers front yesterday. TJ Warren announced by the team that his stress fracture is not healing at the pace they expected. He remains out indefinitely. Here was TJ Warren back in May at the season-ending press conferences, exit interviews for the Pacers on his foot rehab.
It's been tough. It's very unfortunate going through foot surgery. My on the same foot I had, but a second foot, same injury, but it wasn't a fun process at all, just seeing what different type of holes I could have filled in for the team and different areas my presence could have been felt. But I just know it can't storm forever and the sun has to come out, so just looking forward to that.
Well, unfortunately, still a little stormy. A couple screws in that foot as well. Wells, again, he tweeted a few weeks back he was playing basketball, so clearly this is a setback with the season less than 2 months away.
We're talking about betting and everything. We should make a bet over under on how many games TJ Warren plays this season.
Man, where would you set it at? 82-game season?
82-game season. I am going to say 20 games.
Oh, wow. That's low.
That's kind of where I was going, 20 or 30.
Man. I see. Hey, Team Marcus with Team Wells today.
Well, it's not how many you think he's going to play. It's more of what should Vegas set the line at, because that screams under to me, or that
screams over.
That screams like in the right ballpark. I was thinking more of like 35, 40 games is where you set the over-under. When you see a press release like that, Wells, and we're a month and a half away from the regular season, just purely guessing off that, you think he's going to miss what? A month-ish into the season?
At least, because I think he just proved right now that the potential of a setback is there. And he had a setback off of this after what is his 9th month, 8 months since he had a surgery.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know the Pacers are going to be methodical with him now.
And he is going to be, knowing it's a contract.
Well, you know what? No, he may not want to be, because it is a contract year. He wants to get out there and play, because if you can't get out there and play, how are you going to earn some money?
Yeah, but you got another setback, and you might never see any sort of substantial money again.
And the Pacers are like, we're going to take our time, make sure you get back. They're going to take that Chris Ballard, Andrew Luck approach, like, until you were 100%, 101%, you're not going to play in a game.
Chris Duarte, probably good news for him and getting some minutes. Justin Holiday maybe back on the starting lineup. Torrey Craig, a free agent signing that didn't get a whole lot of fanfare.
Ooh, those names excite Pacer fans right now. Like, oh my God. Woo, we're going to compete against Brooklyn, Philly, and Milwaukee in the East with those names.
You guys think we see TJ before 2022, before January?
Nope.
I don't think so either.
Wow. I obviously very up in the air, but I would think sometime in December, but obviously who knows on this front. We'll get more into that a little bit later. On the diamond last night, the Reds, thankfully, the bullpen just holding on for dear life is how I felt like the final 2 innings went. They beat the Cubs 4-3. Wade Miley, 7 innings, 1 run, 8 strikeouts. Really good from Miley. They've got, one more with the Cubs. The Padres lost last night to the Angels. Blake Snell was perfect going into the 7th inning. The Angels scored 2 on him in the 7th, and then 2 more in the 9th. They beat the Padres, so the Reds tied for that final wildcard spot. Again, the Phillies lose to the Brewers, so they are 2 back. Garrett Cole got hurt last night for the Yankees. Obviously a massive injury to watch here in the final month of the season. He left in the 4th inning due to hamstring tightness. The team Wells used to cover the Twins, beat the Indians 3-0, White Sox over the A's 6-3. Albert Pujols hit a home run in his return to Busch Stadium.
Hey, after a standing ovation too. That makes it even better. So it's not like it was his, 3rd or 4th at bat. He did it after a standing ovation and knocked it out. That makes it even better.
Love that. One of the honestly more decorated players of this lifetime. All right, college football, new polls out. Alabama 1, Georgia 2, Ohio State 3, Oklahoma 4, Texas A&M 5. IU drops out of the top 25. They dropped 17 spots if you look at the receiving votes.
As they should.
They are 32nd if you want to get down into that part of it. Notre Dame is 7th, Cincinnati 8th, Iowa climbs up to 12, Penn State 13, Wisconsin 17. Purdue is at UConn as 4-touchdown favorite on Saturday afternoon there. Ball State is at Penn State. That's number 19 Penn State. Ball State a 20.5-point underdog.
Did you see UConn got rid of their head coach?
Yeah, he's going to retire at the end of the year, right?
No, immediately.
Fired him?
He resigned immediately.
He resigned.
First was supposed to be the end of the year, and then changed to doing it immediately.
Man, he's like, we really suck. I mean, they are maybe the worst team in college football.
I mean, Darius Butler, a former Colts defensive back, said he'd go coach there.
I mean, Dan Orlovsky, Darius Butler should go play right now.
Randy Edsall out. Defensive coordinator Lou Spanos is the interim.
Jeez, good luck, sweet Lou there. Final 3 races of the IndyCar season. Portland begins, I believe that's a 3 o'clock race, so then green flag in the 3 o'clock hour on Sunday from Portland, and then it's Laguna Seca, I think Monterey to round out the season there. Wells, we talked about your guy Mark Few yesterday. Did you see what happened to him on Labor Day?
Yeah, man.
9 p.m. Labor Day Monday, Mark Few arrested for DUI. .12, I believe, was the testing there for Mark Few. He was over in Coeur d'Alene.
Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah, they got great golf courses over there.
Yes, they got an island, par 3 island out there too. But when I interned at the Associated Press in Spokane that summer, we would go over there to the lake and pick up basketball on Sunday afternoons.
It's not that far from Gonzaga.
No, I mean it's a good
30,
half
40
hour.
minutes.
Yeah, it's a hop, skip, and a jump over there.
Do you think he was celebrating Idaho's big win over Simon Fraser?
Or he was thinking about that he's got another top 5 recruiting class coming in this year.
So not good on the Mark Few front there. All right, we come back on the Fan Morning Show. Kevin Bowen and Mike Wells. The Colts released their first depth chart of the season yesterday. We will get into that. A few takeaways from that. Phone lines open 317-239-1070. Kevin Bowen, Mike Wells here on the Fan.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on the Fan.
Chris, last year was a challenge.
It was quite a challenge.
But we overcame it.
That's what life's all about, overcoming challenges together.
And I'm so proud of our entire state and our local communities for persevering through last year together. I'm Indiana High School Athletic Association Assistant Commissioner Carrie Schludecker.
And I'm Assistant Commissioner Chris Kaufman. Last year, we learned something that high school sports have always taught kids: how to overcome challenges through discipline and teamwork.
Our student athletes do it year in and year out.
And last year, they did it with limited to no attendance.
But this year, fans are back in the stands, and we want to see your enthusiasm.
So we're challenging you, the fans,
to buy a ticket to your school's next sporting event
and help the whole community persevere.
This is your team. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
All right, the NFL is back, and FanDuel Sportsbook is celebrating with 40-1 odds on any Week 1 game. Who doesn't want to win $200 on just a $5 bet? This is no Hail Mary. There's no Hail Mary. It's that simple. New customers get 40-1 odds when you place your first wager. FanDuel is sports betting made simple. The app is simple and easy to use, and you get your first payouts in as little as 24 hours. So currently, new users, I'm looking at Thursday's Bucks-Cowboys game. You can throw some money on first touchdown score. I like Mike Evans at plus 700. Or if you want to wait till Colts-Seahawks, Colts are currently plus 124 on the money line, so you can go there as well. So be sure to check out FanDuel Sportsbook. They're America's #1 rated sportsbook. They're easy to use, safe and secure, and like I said, lightning fast payouts in as little as 24 hours. So see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. They're always hooking you up with exclusive odds boosts, great promotions, and much more. And if you sign up with promo code MARK, you can win $200 on just a $5 bet. That's promo code MARK, M-A-R-C. 21 and over in present Indiana. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $200. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
does have it all. Savings, service, selection, and a whole lot more. All of our pre-owned vehicles are Hubler Q certified. Every Q certified vehicle includes a 128-point vehicle inspection, a free Carfax vehicle history report, and not one, but 2 warranties. A 2-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and a 30-day, 1,000-mile comprehensive warranty. But that's not all. Each Q certified vehicle on our lot has fewer than 100,000 miles or is less than 9 years old. Looking to sell your car? Hubler will pay top dollar, even if you don't buy ours. Come see why Hoosiers have trusted Hubler for 60 years. Visit any of our 13 locations today or click drivehubler.com. Hubler has it all.
Hey, are you a single professional man looking for a life mate? If your do-it-yourself approach for finding her isn't getting you the results you want, why not hire a pro, like me, so you can take your game to a new level? I'm Amy Owens, singles coach and matchmaker. Maybe you've been looking for a while, or maybe you're newly divorced or widowed and haven't had a date in years, even decades. I can offer you tips, strategies, and introductions to some of Indy's finest single women. These ladies are active, attractive, fit, smart, accomplished, and financially self-sufficient. The only thing missing from their lives is the love and companionship of a good man. If that's you, please give me a call at 317-727-6331. That's 727-6331. Or check out my website, blueribbonsingles.com. Why Blue Ribbon Singles? Because it's the winners who get the blue ribbon.
Boost and Cricket charge more for unlimited 5G. Metro doesn't. Introducing the big 5G upgrade from Metro by T-Mobile. Just $25 a month gets you unlimited 5G and a free 5G smartphone. That's half the price of Boost and Cricket's top plans. So ditch your overpriced connections and switch to Metro, the leader in prepaid. Experience 5G speed at no extra cost and step up big time with the big 5G upgrade. Get 1 line of unlimited 5G smartphone data plus a free Samsung Galaxy 5G when you trade in. All with the power of the T-Mobile 5G network. Rule your day with 5G. Only at Metro. Limited time in-store only. If congested data users greater than 35 gigabytes per month notice lower speeds, and Metro customers notice lower speeds versus T-Mobile due to deprioritization. Leader based on prepaid subs June 2021. Save half based on 1-line Boost and Cricket unlimited plan. See store for details.
This is Unibet, one of Europe's leading betting apps. And this is Nigel. Hello. Nigel has just been promoted from head of Unibet Europe to head of Unibet US. Nigel doesn't know anything about American sports.
QB Scramble. That's some sort of American frittata?
Download the app or visit in.unibet.com. Get $500 risk-free and take advantage of the odds before Nigel figures them out. Unibet. Crazy about the odds.
Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
It's always smart to shop at Diamonds Direct. But right now, it's smarter than ever. With 5 years, 0 interest financing, and no money down on any purchase. No kidding. It's the best offer ever. Keep your money and finance the entire purchase, even the tax, for 5 years without paying a dime in interest. Get a $10,000 certified diamond for only $168 a month. It's definitely the smart way to buy. So don't miss it. On approved credit. Details at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Keystone at the Crossing.
Listening to the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Mike Wells back on the Fan Morning Show. He will be with us again tomorrow. Then Brendan King will round out the week. Colts season opener Sunday at 1 o'clock. Our coverage begins at 10 a.m. here. I know something we can get to a little bit later in the week is Carson Wentz's history against Seattle. Not very good at all. We'll, see if that matters. And Russell Wilson in the Eastern time zone. I know it's a big topic a lot of people like to bring up. He's been incredible, frankly, in games in the Eastern time zone whenever you get a team out west making that trek over. So we'll get to that.
And that's a 10 a.m. start, too.
Right, 10 a.m. Both these starts for Seahawks and the Rams next week. And I know, again, a lot of, especially from a betting standpoint, a lot of people like to point to that, but seemingly hasn't affected Russell Wilson in his career. KBowen1070 on Twitter, at Mike Wells NFL on Twitter, 317-239-1070. Stephen Holder going to join us at the top of the hour, covers the Colts for The Athletic. Wells, Colts released their first depth chart of the season. Obviously, 53-man roster, cut down. What stood out to you depth chart-wise from what you saw yesterday?
Can I backtrack real quick, KB?
Yeah.
I love this chat function on the YouTube thing. I'm having fun.
Are you going back and forth with people?
Oh, my God, I'm loving this.
Yeah.
Oh, see, hint. You know, if I stick around, that I will gladly multitask and answer questions in the chat.
See, last week I thought they were going to be lined up on the Monument Circle waiting for Greg Doyle after the show, but is it not going down that path for you?
No.
Are you making friends in there?
Oh yeah, hey, we're having fun. We're talking about favorite sayings in the media group. That because they like to say I say hey a lot on the air, and also I admitted that one of the things I say in the media room is I'm not gonna lie. And I say that a lot. And as I told them, Zach Kiefer has even started picking up on it and started to say it. And
like a Chris Ballard look.
Yeah, or Ballard likes to say that's a good question, and then he answers the question.
Right.
So, but no, back to the depth chart.
I love the YouTube chat, by the way. For those that didn't realize this, Wells and I on camera, and you can comment over on YouTube on our 107.5 The Fan page.
Yeah, come on in. I'll definitely interact with you guys. I'm having a blast with it. But looking at the depth chart, I don't think anything really stood out. Maybe, I thought Ben Banigou had a pretty decent training camp. Looking at him as a third defensive end, lined up behind Kwity Paye and Kamoko Toure. I think the fact that Kwity Paye was a day one starter, nobody should be surprised about it. I think Rock Ya-Sin got that third cornerback spot alongside Kenny Moore and Xavier Rhodes, more by default.
Yeah, I would agree because he was healthy.
Yeah, there was nobody out there to really compete for that job.
TJ Carey got hurt in the preseason opener, and I think if healthy, you would go with Carey there. Now he's back to practice, but when you look at the safety depth, I think that's another thing that stood out to me. Wells, there's not a lot of safeties on the roster, really. Once you get behind Julian Blackman and Kari Willis. George Odom's the only guy, and frankly, he's on the team because he's such a good special teams player.
Guy. And they got TJ Carey listed as a free safety on
right. And last year he played a lot of corner for you, and was really the guy late in the season. So Rock Ya-Sin, when you played nickel, he's your third corner, and like Wells said, he won that by default. Frankly, I thought he had a very up and down training camp, and then when TJ Carey got hurt, Marvell Tell missed a little bit of time as well. He ended up winning the job, and I kind of say win in quotes. I know a lot of people pointed to Nyheim Hines above Marlon Mack at running back.
I'm not reading too much into that one.
Well, frankly, I think Nyheim Hines should be above Marlon Mack.
See, I disagree because I think the way it's listed, with Nyheim Hines is listed as a second running back, but I can see Marlon Mack in the backfield and Nyheim Hines lined up out wide.
Yeah, but I think Nyheim Hines has touched the ball more than Marlon Mack.
Oh, he should. I mean, we had women last time. What was it? A couple weeks ago when I was on, we had our fantasy, our media flag football team. If I'm picking a team, if I'm a fantasy guy, I am taking Nyheim Hines as a late round draft pick because he's able to run the ball. He's going to get some catches out of the backfield. He's going to get a lot of yards. And he's also going to score some touchdowns. So Hines is a guy I want on the field. Frank Reich and Marcus Braley have to find a way to keep Nyheim Hines on the field as much as possible because he can do so many different things, and he is a matchup nightmare if he lines up out wide and they put a linebacker on him. There's no way in hell a linebacker can keep up with Hines.
Yeah, you can't forget about Hines. And from a game plan standpoint, you obviously want to be versatile. You don't want to necessarily have the same game plans week to week, but Hines being a guy that touches it 10 or 12 times, I think is something that has to happen on a week in, week out basis there. I know a lot of people looked at the defensive line and they were surprised to see Al-Qadim Muhammad starting opposite Kwity Paye. Tyquan Lewis got hurt a couple weeks ago, injured his shoulder, and missed a decent chunk of camp there to end things at Grand Park. And obviously they're going to rotate a ton of bodies on the defensive line. We know that full well. But I feel like people don't give Al-Qadim Muhammad just credit of. He's just a solid guy that Matt Eberflus is obsessed with effort. And, you got to remember, too, Al-Qadim Muhammad helps you out on the rundowns. And then I think when you get to the pass downs, you brought up Banigou earlier. To me, when I think third down for the Colts, I think it's going to be Kwity Paye, obviously DeForest Buckner. Then I think that's where Kamoko Toure comes onto the field. And then lastly, to round out that group, IndyCar package, whatever you want to call it, that's where I think Tyquan Lewis can play a little bit of defensive tackle for you, a la Danico Autry in years past.
It's funny you mentioned Autry because I was going to say Muhammad is like Autry. Not flashy. He's not going to sit there. He's not going to, what do coaches like to say, scouts, pop out on the screen.
Right.
He's not going to pop out on the screen at you. But when it's all said and done, he's getting that 1 sack, that 2 sacks, having a pass rush to impact, the quarterback.
He's just a reliable player.
He's going to simply get it done. He's a defensive version of Jack Doyle. Not pretty, but he's going to show up on the stat sheet.
You got to give Doyle a little bit more credit than that.
Man, stop sticking up for them Cathedral boys, man.
Jack Doyle has how many Pro Bowls on his resume? How many does Al-Qadim Muhammad have?
I'm trying to say blue collar, put your Timberland boots on and your lunch pail and your hard hat and just go out and play. That's what Jack Doyle is. I know you don't know what Timberland boots are, KB, but it's okay.
I know full well what they are. That's Mike Wells NFL on Twitter, at KBowen1070 on Twitter. Phone line 317-239-1070. A lot of people were looking at wideout as well. The Colts listed 3 starters who you would expect, obviously, Michael Pittman, Zach Pascal, Paris Campbell. Then it gets into how do you handle that 4th, maybe even a 5th wideout. To me, Wells, it's all going to be just kind of flavor of what you want. Do you want the bigger guy? There's Mike Strawn coming into play. Do you want more of a similar skill set to Hilton? And I think that's where Ashton Doolin, who is on the team for special teams, but we've seen him play wideout before in games. And then the name not to forget about is on the practice squad, and he's healthy. He was practicing, and that's Kiki Kuti, the only guy on your practice squad who you have that wasn't here during training camp. Kuti, again, from the Texans, has not been healthy throughout his 3 NFL seasons, but when healthy, he's produced, especially against this football team. He's got 300-yard games against the Colts, and when you talk about depth at wideout, it's not a lot of proven depth. To me, Kuti could be a guy that you bump up later in the week, Wells, if you feel like he's got to grasp the playbook, and all of a sudden, he might be your 4th wideout on game days.
Yeah, you're right. And, we talked about Strawn yesterday. I think you made a great point between him and Doolin. I think it's situational football with those two. If you're in the red zone, you're going with Strawn. If you're trying to get something, something down the field or somebody coming across the middle of the field underneath, you go with Doolin. But QT, they didn't bring him in to sit him on the practice squad the whole year because the reality is he can get plucked off the practice squad unless they protect him going into each week's game. So I could see him, how this week goes, potentially getting bumped up on the roster. And by them doing that, tells you that the T.Y. Hilton neck injury could be something that's longer than, the 3 games that he's required to miss.
Yeah, and you mentioned the protected spots in the practice squad. I think Mike Chappell tweeted this yesterday. Brett Hundley, the quarterback, is protected. That makes total sense. Joey Hunt was protected at center. Obviously, Ryan Kelly coming back from injury and not vaccinated either. And then Sean Davis, the veteran safety signing, was the other one there. I'm curious, Wells, those 3 names, Hundley at quarterback, Hunt as center, Sean Davis as safety. To me, I see those 3 names and think they're at positions that depth is in question, and they're positions where you have unvaccinated players.
Yes. Which one of safeties?
I'm not 100% sure on Kari Willis.
But yeah, definitely the center spot.
Yeah,
and
center at quarterback,
yes.
We know. Safety, you don't have great depth. I'm not 100% sure on the vaccinated guys at safety, but I think there were some questions about those guys and their vaccination status. So I'm curious if that plays into it because, of course, as we saw with the close contact, that can happen at any moment. Stephen Holder going to join us here in about 15 minutes, but let's get to Mark Dykton, and I got to know.
All right, boys, we are just about 36 hours away from the start of the NFL season. So, who you got winning the divisions? Do you want to go AFC today or NFC today? We'll do the other one tomorrow.
Wells, what do you want?
Let's go NFC. We'll say the AFC for my finale.
All right, NFC. Who you have winning the NFC North?
You first, KB. This is your show.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Packers. I know a lot of turmoil throughout the offseason there, but I still think they get it done. And to me, it really drops off after Green Bay and what those other teams look like in the division.
Man, Aaron Rodgers in his final season with Green Bay is going to win the division, and he is going to push to get the Packers to the Super Bowl so he can basically give the Packers front office a giant middle finger and say, F you. I'm out the door. Good luck with Jordan Love.
Mark is a diehard Bears fan, so that is cringeworthy to him.
It is disgusting.
I mean, but listen, Mark needs to worry more about who the QB1 is in Chicago.
I mean, literally, Bears, Vikings, I don't feel great about either of those
It'll be
teams.
the Packers, probably, as much as I threw up on my mouth as I said that. But it'll be the Packers. All right, NFC East, the garbage of the NFL. The NFC East.
Exactly.
Who you have winning that trash pile?
I'm gonna close my eyes, and I am just going to pick. And I will say it's not going to be the Sirianni rock paper scissors Philadelphia Eagles. I'm gonna go with the Washington football team.
Wow, back-to-back division titles.
Yes, I'm not gonna say how many wins they have. I mean, it could be with a losing record, but
first one to 8, first one to 9.
Somebody has to win a division, but I'm going with the Washington football team.
It's a team that Wells said is the most overrated in the NFL. If Dak is somewhat healthy, I'll go with the Cowboys. They have to be the most talented team.
Settle down just a little bit.
Thank you, Jerry.
God, Jerry, come on. No, Washington football team, I think they repeat as well.
This is a bad division. Like, from top to bottom,
Worst
it's
division of
probably
football.
the worst division, yeah.
Listen, this might be one of the worst divisions in all professional sports.
Right. I mean, last year you had the debate of should you give the NFC East home playoff game to the second team that finishes in the NFC West.
And I'm basing my pick on believing that the Washington football team will be a top 5 defense. So I don't really have much faith in their offense.
Which is a fair bet. Yeah. I mean, they have a really good defensive front.
Mm-hmm. All right, NFC South. Will the Bucs repeat? What's going on there?
Now that the Saints just aren't the same juggernaut, and, they had their chance. I don't trust Jameis over 17-game season. Too many turnovers there. So, yeah, I think this might be the easiest one of all the NFC divisions. Although Green Bay, you can make an argument for that. I think it's pretty clear that Carolina, Atlanta, no. I like Tampa.
KB, Jameis Winston, comeback player of the year. Sean Payton is going to look like a genius.
Wow.
With Jameis Winston at quarterback.
Man, is that PB&J laced this morning?
I don't know. My daughter made it for me. She might have. She did go to bed mad at me after I read her text messages before she went to bed. So she might have laced it. But no, Jameis Winston will be.
The Saints winning the division?
No. Bucks are going to the division. But I am defending you saying you don't trust Jameis Winston.
Well, yeah, I don't trust. I mean, they're going to be a 500 football team.
Okay, but he's going to win comeback player of the year. Tampa Bay Bucks are going to win the division again easily. I mean, this is the second worst division of football.
If you're winning comeback player of the year, that means your team is getting in the playoffs, and I don't see the Saints as getting in the playoffs.
Watch. Okay. I'll bring it up again in January.
All right.
Yeah, Bucks will repeat again. That'll be. I'm just waiting for the wheels to fall off of Brady, and I don't think it'll be this year though.
No, I mean, that's a bet that anyone would be foolish to make. It's weird, man. These first 3 divisions, the NFC, there's not a lot of debate. Well, I guess the East, but again, it's just mediocre football there. The North and the South, though, it seems very obvious to me.
Probably the most intriguing division in the NFC by far, the NFC West.
Best division in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Best division in which
and the Colts play them.
In which, why I don't believe the Colts are going to, this is why I believe the Colts are going to have fewer wins this season, even though playing one more game. But I am going with the Rams. I think Matthew Stafford is going to shake off, the nightmares he had in Detroit of not being able to win a playoff game. Sean McVay's going to get the best out of him. And damn, Aaron Donald and my favorite cornerback in the NFL, Jalen Ramsey. Give me the Rams.
You like Ramsey because he talks?
Hell yeah. Hey, Ramsey is my kind of guy. Like, if I was a professional athlete, which I'm far from that, never even sniffed it, I would be Jalen Ramsey. I would be talking trash nonstop, basically like I do now in the media.
If you didn't tear that Achilles in Midwest Sports Complex, I think you could have made it.
I'd be playing in an over 40 softball league right now.
Yes, the best division of football. I honestly could hear cases for all 4 of these teams. Mm-hmm. And I know that might sound a little crazy, but I think the 49ers, just awful injury situation last year. Arizona was up there for a while, and I still think they're extremely potent on offense. I will go with the Rams. I hate to agree with Wells on 3 of my 4, but I will go with the Rams. I think, honestly, and not to leak the Super Bowl picks early, but I think the Rams will be in the Super Bowl.
I like that. KB.
Which is, part of me is like, wait, what? Matthew Stafford has not won a single playoff game, and all of a sudden they're going to be in the Super Bowl.
Well, the pressure's on Sean McVay.
What worries me about the West is this. They beat each other up. Now, all of a sudden, they don't get the number 1 overall seed, the winner of that division. You give it to, like, a team like Tampa, and now it's one less playoff game that they have to win to get to the Super Bowl.
I think the Rams will be a playoff team. I don't think they'll win the division. I think the 49ers will rebound.
Wow,
and win the
Mark
NFC
Dykton.
West.
Okay, all right, Marky, let's go. Who's going to be the starting quarterback? Jimmy G?
G's getting the start.
Okay, yeah, we know.
Trey Lance will. I mean, Jimmy G can't stay healthy, so I think we will see Trey Lance.
So Trey Lance leads the 49ers to the NFC West title.
And now you got a two-headed backfield of Trey Sermon and Raheem Mostert. I think that'll be good. You got George Kittle.
Man, they are snake bitten with injuries. And you talk. KB asked if my peanut butter and jelly sandwich was laced. Is your cereal laced? Thinking that Trey Lance is going to lead the 49ers to the division title?
I'm thinking that, with the 49ers, like I said, health issues last year, I'm thinking they rebound and can at least stay healthy. I think they have the best defense. Well, they're definitely, I don't know if they're better than the Rams. They're better than Seahawks for sure, and they're better than the Cardinals.
That's a sneaky game on the Colts schedule. That San Francisco game in prime time.
Sunday night.
Yeah, that's a game we focus so much on the first five. I think that one's like the seventh game the Colts play this year. That is going to be a tough one.
Last one. Will any Colts players win any on-field performance awards by the end of this season?
Wells Wentz is on any short list for comeback player of the year. Some might say, well, if you get benched, should you be a comeback player of the year? But I think you factor in an injury in the offseason. Dak Prescott, he's obviously on that as well.
Well, Wentz can't win comeback player of the year because Jameis Winston's going to win it.
Again, just a ludicrous statement there.
Mark, you like to slice up sound bites. Please hold on to that, please.
I will hold on to it.
Leonard and Buckner. I saw the Defensive Player of the Year candidates the other day. Buckner was way too far down there for me. I'll say Kwity Paye wins NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Ooh.
That's where I was leaning.
Man.
You got anything?
KB, I'm not liking this. We're seeing too much eye to eye before 8 a.m. I like that pick.
You weren't thinking that until I said it.
You're right, I wasn't, but I like it, though. So I'm going to piggyback off of it.
Like, there weren't a lot of defensive guys drafted early on. It's difficult, I think, for like a corner, linebackers. Do you make enough impactful plays? If Kwity Paye dials up, 7 sacks, 8 sacks, I think he could be that guy.
Kwity Paye gets double-digit sacks this year.
Wow. Now that's...
double-digit sacks.
Man, that's a big, big number. There are not many rookie rushers that come in the NFL and have double.
Man, I'm carrying over my bold predictions. I'm making all kind of bold predictions this morning.
Mike Wells drinking his water, carrying the water for Kwity Paye right there with double-digit sacks. Stephen Holder going to join us. We come back, covers the Colts for The Athletic. He had a great piece on DeForest Buckner that we'll get to with Stephen. Matthew Berry, the ESPN fantasy guru. We're giving him a call around 9:30. He's Mike Wells. I'm Kevin Bowen. You listen to the Fan Morning Show here on 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Your home for indie sports. Now with even more ways to listen.
Listen on air.
Online at 1075thefan.com.
And on our free app.
Stay connected to all things indie sports, including the latest news, show blogs, and catch up on what you've missed with our podcast.
We're never more than just a click away.
Download our app at Google Play and on the App Store. From your home for indie sports.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Northern Tool and Equipment is now hiring. If you're looking for a job with competitive pay and growth opportunities, apply at northerntool.com/careers or at any store today.
The first bet on Caesar Sportsbook app is up to $5,000 risk-free, people. When I told my team about the idea, they said I was being too wonderful and magnificent. But I don't care how awesome this makes me. I'm doing this for the people. So just download the app, and that first bet is up to $5,000 risk-free. Caesar made an app for the people.
Must be 21. Offer valid in Indiana only and for new players. Paid in bet credits. Terms and conditions apply. See Caesars.com/promos. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
With Wells on his way to losing yet another bet to me, he's got to be in the mood of must-save money right now. And that means he needs to dial up our friends over at Golden Oak Lending. While refinancing can be stressful and confusing, the great folks at Golden Oak Lending will ease that process and see if they can save you money. Home values are still soaring, and Golden Oak's rates are still at a historically low 2.25%, which means right now is the best time to look into refinancing with Golden Oak Lending. Even if you haven't done anything to your house, your home's value has increased in the last year alone, giving you the opportunity to use that equity to finish a home project, pay off credit cards, or even consolidate bills. Getting started couldn't be easier with Golden Oak's free mortgage checkup. Yes, it's a risk-free. There's no paperwork or credit card required. Just call 317-706-GOLD to find out how much money you could save each month. No matter your unique situation or goals, you have an expert lending partner for life in Golden Oak Lending. That's 317-706-GOLD, or head to goldenoaklending.com right now to see what your home equity can do for you. NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR, FHA, 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks is honoring the pursuit of brews and barrel-aged bourbon every Wednesday at their Bourbon and Brews Party. Get to Twin Peaks from 5 to 7 p.m. to experience a lingerie costume party paired with exceptional bourbons, tastings, and giveaways. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. Is it time for a job change? This may be what you're looking for. Coca-Cola Consolidated Whitestown is having a 2-day on-the-spot hiring event Friday, September 10th, noon to 8 p.m. and Saturday, September 11th, 8 a.m. to noon at 3690 South 500 East, Whitestown. Positions available for Class A CDL drivers, driver trainees. We'll provide training to obtain Class A CDL, driver helpers, merchandisers, and warehouse. 2-day on-the-spot hiring event Friday and Saturday, September 10th and 11th at Coca-Cola Consolidated, 3690 South 500 East, Whitestown.
USA Today Sports Plus is the new sports app that puts fans first. While others are at the press conference, they're in the locker room with more reporters in more cities than any other news outlet. Get the latest scores, stats, and standings and enjoy interactive experiences as well as group chats with their award-winning sports writers. If you're a fan of football, you need USA Today Sports Plus for this upcoming season. Download it from the Apple or Google Play stores today. USA Today Sports Plus. Fan harder.
Wow, I've got a whole 5 minutes before my next call. What should I do? Grab a snack? Nah. Text with mom? That's more than a 5-minute proposition. I have been looking at getting a new bank account. Is that even possible?
Can't believe you have extra time? You won't believe what you can do with it. Open a Regions checking account online in as little as 5 minutes. Then enjoy award-winning service and banking tools and tech that help you live in the moment. Learn more at regions.com/live-in-the-moment. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
At Kroger, fresh groceries are our thing, so we check your delivery order for freshness at every step from farm to store and pick and pack every veggie in your free pickup order with care, because we treat your food the way we'd want ours to be treated. We're fresh every day, so shop anyway. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Free pickup on orders of $35 or more. Restrictions may apply.
Get more ways to save at the Buy 5 or More Save $1 each sale. Just buy 5 or more participating items and save $1 each with card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
I donate plasma with BioLife because I like giving back.
I donate plasma with BioLife because people living with immune deficiencies need my help today.
I donate plasma with BioLife because I don't have a good reason not to.
I donate plasma with BioLife because I get paid.
I donate plasma with BioLife because I like a little extra spending cash.
I donate plasma with BioLife because I want to buy a TV for my bathroom one day.
Whatever your reason, BioLife makes it easy to earn up to $1,200 in your first month of donating. BioLife. There's purpose in your plasma. Visit biolifeplasma.com to learn more.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WIBC HD2 W298BB. WIBC HD3 W228CX. Indianapolis.
Pitt travels to Tennessee and college football action. Saturday morning at 11:30 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. It's the Fan Morning Show.
We'll have some classes at times.
Hey, we're calling the plays, all right?
We got to run the ball.
When we pass, watch. We'll run the ball.
Can we run it down?
We run it down. Yeah, Jeff.
Okay, so
we will. All right, when we call pass plays, walk.
With Kevin Bowen.
Boom, baby.
On 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Welcome back to the Fan Morning Show. Myself, Kevin Bowen, and Mike Wells in studio today and again tomorrow. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. The Colts' first regular season practice. We'll have an injury report later today. Will be, I think, at 1 o'clock-ish is when the Colts get on the practice field. He'll be out there. Will be Stephen Holder from The Athletic, who covers the Colts. He joins us now. Stephen, we saw the first depth chart yesterday for the Colts. Wells and I hit on a few of our takeaways last segment. Anything in particular stand out to you with that first depth chart?
Yeah, I guess I would say. I mean, there's obviously I think it's a small thing, honestly, because I think this has been in the works for a while. But I mean, Nyheim Hines was a change from. I think he's kind of historically been number 3 behind Marlon Mack, but I think that's more appropriate to have him second. I honestly, and I'm sure you covered this, but so I forgive the repetition, but I honestly wonder what kind of touches Marlon Mack is in for this year. I don't know that it's going to be nearly as much as he's hoping for. I just see that shaping up as a 2-man position for the most part, in my mind at least. But I guess we'll see. Elsewhere, I would say the defensive line. I mean, look, we can talk about Al-Quadin Muhammad being the number 1 guy at left defensive end, I guess, but for me, the bigger takeaway was, man, there's a lot of guys here who I like, as in terms of their potential. I mean, they have, I guess, 5 rushers they could conceivably get some production from. That's pretty good. And so I think it shows you the depth. And then obviously the cornerback situation is what it is. Rock Ya-Sin is number 1 there, but at left corner, but we'll see how that goes. I mean, I think that could end up being sort of a committee approach, just based on what we have seen and also based on what Matt Eberflus said yesterday as well. It sounded to me like there may be some platooning happening there.
And, Steven, I still expect, and again, Stephen Holder from The Athletic joined us here on the Payless Liquors Hotline. I still think in base defense, it's Xavier Rhodes and Kenny Moore as your 2 corners, and then Rock as your nickel guy.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's true. It's an important distinction.
And I know you don't play a ton of base, but I just wanted to make that clear to people.
Yeah, there's no question. I think they're going to be in the nickel more often than not. Probably, I don't know, my guess is 55, 60% is probably the minimum. You're in the nickel. So, yeah, you're going to see a lot of that nickel lineup out there. So that third corner has to play a lot. And I think that's going to be an issue, an ongoing issue, unless Rock Ya-Sin can sort of solidify his situation, which he hasn't been able to do.
Hey, Holder, you've been in this business about the same amount of time I have, 20 plus years. Have you covered a preseason / training camp as newsy / hectic as we've done since July 28th? I mean, of course, we know the Andrew Luck situation 2 years ago, so let's take that out of the equation. Has there been a busier start to a season in any sport you cover between the NFL and the NBA?
So I would say I've had bigger stories, like bigger individual stories that I had to cover, right? I mean, well, first of all, Andrew Luck retired, so that trumps everything. And then there's also the time I was in Tampa, and they were getting ready to trade for Brett Favre, and it ends up falling through, and he goes to New York. But that story hung over our heads for like 10 days. We're like, oh, my God, is he coming? Is he coming? So I've had bigger individual stories, but never the deluge of daily stories that we've had to deal with over the past about 30 days or so. That, to me, it has been unprecedented. And as you said, I mean, we've all been doing this a long time and covered all manner of stories and been involved in all kinds of situations. It was an absolute daily train wreck. I mean, let's just be honest.
I thought you were going to say Bleep Show.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of my concerns is that, they needed this preseason, this training camp. They really needed it to kind of formulate the team they wanted to be. They just didn't get a chance to do that. I mean, have we seen this team? None of us have. We don't know what this team is. I mean, I think I know what it is on paper, but paper doesn't mean a damn thing. They haven't been able to actually display that team. The coaches have barely been able to see that team. I think we've asked them, multiple times, like, hey, do you guys know what this is going to look like? And they keep telling us, no, we've been formulating this for a while. We've been talking. We've been meeting. Yeah, I know, but let's be honest. They're kind of playing this down in my mind. I don't think they have a clear picture of what this is going to look like because they can't possibly have one. It's not anybody's fault, but let's just be honest. This team is really starting from scratch, at the starting line, which is not great.
and starting at the starting line, the quarterback spot. We know Frank Reich is not going to get fired. He just got him and Chris Ballard just got a contract extensions. But how much pressure is on Reich if Carson Wentz doesn't pan out? And I think we can agree there's three factors in talking about Carson Wentz's ability to produce. A, his health, after he's got a history of being injured. B, he was just benched last season. And C, being unvaccinated.
Yeah, I mean, he has a lot working against him, or a lot that he has to overcome. I mean, I'll start with the injuries. I mean, that's already reared its head, and I do think that was kind of a freak thing. I'm not going to sit here and say, that it was, just sort of a typical injury. It wasn't, but it is what it is, right? I mean, the narratives don't come from nowhere. They're usually based on something. And there is a narrative about Carson Wentz, and it's not wrong. Like, the guy has missed his share of games. I mean, I don't think there are certainly NFL players with worse injury histories than Carson Wentz. The problem is he's a quarterback, and the quarterback is so central to everything that you just have to judge quarterback injury histories by a different standard. So I think that is just a reality that we have to understand going into this. So I don't know that there's anything that Frank Reich or anybody can do about that. They just have to pray that he stays healthy. That's all it is. Now, the other thing, or one of the other things, the other topic that I think they can do something about is his performance. And what they are trying to do, and what I've been told repeatedly, and I know we've all heard this, is that the chief responsibility of Frank Reich and Marcus Brady and the entire offensive staff, their chief responsibility as it relates to Carson Wentz this year, I think, is to get him to play within himself. Because if he does that, he has enough talent around him. I don't know that this is a Super Bowl team, but I think this team is very talented. They have depth in the right places. This is a talented team. He doesn't have to be Superman. So as long as they can get him to understand that, and he's stubborn, right, because things break down and Carson Wentz tries to put on his cape. They got to get him to a point where he doesn't do that and just basically be the point guard. That's what they need him to do. Be the point guard, the distributor, and every once in a while they might need you to take somebody off the dribble. Do I use a basketball reference every week? I think I do.
No, you're a hoops junkie. You're a hoops
I was going to
ask
you. I was going to ask you to name the point guard. Are we talking Stockton, or are we talking more of a scoring point guard
or Westbrook out here?
Yeah.
Right. Well, no. Exactly. He goes Westbrook too often. That's the problem.
Yeah. You need more John Stockton. You need less Westbrook.
Exactly. Sometimes you need that distributor who's a pass-first guy and not always looking to take that shot, because, you don't need the point guard, driving and getting himself up underneath the basket and realizing he doesn't have a shot, and then now where are you, right? It's a turnover. So that's what they got to get Carson Wentz to not do, and it's what he did in Philly last year, and I get it. Like, it doesn't excuse it, but I get it. I mean, I saw that team. That team was terrible, and he thought he could save it. And guess what? You're not that good, Carson Wentz. You can't save that team. Nobody could. So he's got to understand that, and I think he's in the right place where they have the right approach, and Frank Reich has just a way of reaching his quarterbacks. So I think he has shown that his quarterbacks play efficient football. And then the other thing that you mentioned, COVID, well, there's nothing any of us can do about that unless he gets vaccinated. So, and listen, that we're all at risk, no matter if we're vaccinated or not. I think we understand that. But the close contact game that they have to play is going to be an issue. And I asked Carson last week, do you have to go over and beyond the protocols? Because, we've seen what can happen. And I think he answered that affirmatively. So we'll see. I mean, if he wants to basically go into hibernation for the fall, I mean, maybe that's what it's going to take.
Stephen Holder from The Athletic joined us here on the Fan Morning Show. Wrote a great piece earlier in the week on DeForest Buckner and just all the attention and expecting more of it coming his way this season. On that note, Stephen, Frank Reich mentioned on Monday just some subtle defensive changes he expects schematically this year. Obviously, Matt Eberflus was not in the giving mood on that yesterday when asked about it. But if you had to guess, just because it's always been interesting to me, Stephen, for as much of a chess match guy as Frank Reich is, and as much of a week in, week out, you don't know what's coming, Matt Eberflus is more stringent, I think, in his principles and his core beliefs. Yeah. We'll do what we do really well, that sort of thinking. What tweaks do you think Eberflus could make on that front?
I thought about that when he said it, and I don't know if this is what he means, but one thing that I have noticed, and maybe you have too in camp, and I hope they don't get mad at me for saying this, but one thing I've noticed is I've seen some different blitzes that I haven't seen before, or at least more of them, I guess. I've seen the corners coming, and I don't mean like Kenny Moore. Kenny Moore blitzing from the slot is a pretty common thing for them. I've seen even the outside corner coming at times. That is not something I've really seen from Matt Eberflus. I don't know if that's what they're talking about, but I do wonder if maybe there might be some blitzes, or maybe more frequent blitzes and maybe different blitzes than we've seen in the past. Because, frankly, they've been one of the 3 or 4 lowest teams in terms of blitz rate, over Matt Eberflus's tenure. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I know in this scheme that's just never going to be a big component, but I do think you got to find ways to mix things up, and you've got some quarterbacks that you're going to have to cope with this year. Right out of the gate, you're going to have 2 pretty good ones, right? It's Russell Wilson and Matt Stafford, and so you're not going to fool those guys necessarily, but you also can't make it easy for them, and so I think you have to show them a variety of things, and you have to give them something to think about. So I wonder if blitzes are maybe a way they could mix things up this year. I would be in favor of that.
All right, Holder. I'm about to take our normal media room or standing on the practice field conversation and put it on the airwaves.
Oh, boy.
I need
this
Kevin.
This could go a lot of directions here. I'm a little nervous about this,
right?
I need your prediction. I don't want no him and Han saying I can see them winning this many games if this happens. We need to put it on the spot, and I know we can all say if Carson Wentz plays X amount of games, they can win this many games. We're going in blind, just like the culture. How many wins? Where do they finish in the AFC South? And how far do they go in the playoffs if you pick them to make the playoffs?
So I was gonna. Initially, before the season was thinking this was a 12-win team. I just think too much has happened. And I worry about a slow start. I don't think they're a bad team or anything. I'm just saying I don't know that they're in mid-season shape. They're just not. So I worry about a slow start, and I think that could end up hurting them. I think 10 wins might be where they're at now. And I don't know what all the variables are, because we don't know what they're going to look like, but I have to take the under rather than the over right now, just until they prove me wrong.
I thought you were higher on them, Steven.
I was.
See, he's out here backpedaling quicker than Carmelo did in that fight that one time.
I did say that, but I just worry about the slow start. I mean, with too many of their key players that just haven't done anything. And I'm just saying, if I'm a head coach, that scares the hell out of me. If my very, very best players haven't been out there, and you're right, I am higher on the team. I'm high on their talent. I just think it's the issues that they've had of late are the problem. Now, I could see a scenario where that doesn't happen. I could see a scenario where they hit it and they get rolling and they're fine. The T.Y. Hilton injury also is a factor for me. I just think there's just been too much. You talked about all the stuff we've had to cover this preseason. I think we're probably not giving that enough weight. And the more I think, at least me, I think I haven't been giving that enough weight. Let's put it that way. And the more I think about it, the more I think this first 5-game stretch is going to be tougher than we probably even anticipated.
And we already envisioned being it tough already.
Yeah. They're just, I don't know how ready they are. I just don't. And again, it's a very difficult thing to forecast. How ready is a team for the season? I don't know how you even tell. All I know is their key guys just haven't been in the lineup, and that would concern me. And Eric Fisher, I mean, I'd be surprised if he played this week. I think that's a week 2 or 3 situation, frankly. So
playoffs or not?
They're going to have a tough start.
Playoffs or not?
Wild card.
All right.
Steven,
I thought they were going to win the division, but I think if I think if they get off to that slow start, then I think that hurts them. I think that's where that could get decided. The last thing I would add is that, I mean, I don't love Tennessee, but offensively, let's just be honest. I mean, that might be enough to carry them. I don't think much of their defense, but I think offensively, I mean, they have the ability to score a lot of points. There's no question about that.
Last thing with Stephen Holder from The Athletic, and I will add, we know the Colts have a tough start to their schedule. Tennessee's got a really tough, October. So I think both these teams have difficult starts within the first 2 months of the year, and they play each other both in the first 2 months of the season. Peter King, Stephen, had the Colts out of the playoffs because of the COVID close contact worry with so many prominent players. That was literally the reason he gave, thinking that that's going to come up this season. It's impossible to predict that, of course, but how real do you think that worry should be for Colts fans?
I mean, I think it's legitimate, and, it is impossible to predict, right? But let's just be honest. The unvaccinated players who are at risk for the close contact, it's their very best players. Literally all of their very best players. I mean, you can't put it any plainer than that. I mean, those guys are at a much higher risk of missing time in the lineup, and they are the most important players on the roster. So it's not terrible logic by Peter King, frankly. And I think we've seen this happen already. I mean, if what happened last week happened today instead, then what's this weekend look like, right? I mean, and there's no telling when and if it will happen. And that's the thing. It can happen at the drop of a hat. And look, the difference between Carson Wentz being in the lineup and out of the lineup on any given day is vaccination, literally, because of the close contact situation. So, yeah, I don't think you can overstate it. And I think the fact that who is unvaccinated on this team is a huge, huge, huge problem.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, when I see Holder in a couple hours, he is going to cuss my ass out because I put him on the spot. Normally we do the predictions on usually on Thursdays, but since we're not going to have him on the show tomorrow, I had to put him on the spot right now. So I'm sure he's going to cuss me out and be talking trash to me when I see him on West 56th Street in a couple hours.
Steven's a good team player.
It's a regular Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, regular season's here. Wells is cussing people out. Steven, as always, thank you for the time. See you in a bit.
Okay, guys, see you. That's
Stephen Holder right there on the Payless Liquors hotline. Again, I enjoyed his piece earlier this week on DeForest Buckner. Wells and I got to give our predictions. We might do that a little bit later in the show as well, and we'll touch back on the TJ Warren thing here in a bit. But it's Big O Tire Sports Center update time on The Fan.
The Sports Center update on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan is presented by Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Colts will get back to practice around 1 o'clock today. Their first regular season practice officially. We'll get an injury report. Eric Fisher is eligible to practice. As Steven mentioned there, I think Wells and I are on the same page. It would be a surprise if we expect Eric Fisher to play in Sunday's opener. Colts have lost 7 straight season openers, Wells. Every team, I think they're the only team in the NFL to have lost 7 straight openers. I know personnel's changed, but, I mean, when does that become a mental hurdle?
I don't think it's a mental hurdle. I think the only person it's a mental hurdle to is Jim Irsay because he is so adamant and
he's told his team that.
Yeah, to win multiple Lombardi trophies. And I'm going to say right now, they're going to make it 8 straight Week 1 losses. So there's my prediction. Colts will lose to the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday afternoon.
Best game of the weekend. Colts, Seahawks, Browns at Chiefs, Steelers at Bills.
I'm going Browns and Chiefs.
Yeah,
I know Colts fans are going to cringe because Ryan Grigson is on staff in Cleveland, but I like what they're doing out there in Cleveland. I mean, now you got you got Clowney to go with Myles Garrett on the bookends out there. I like Baker Mayfield, and clearly you can never shortchange Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Are you going down the Grigson path with us? I thought that was usually you and Dan like to go down that path.
Oh, it is. It is. I mean, some people like to hold the lunch pail with Grigson, and we'll just leave it at that. I love you, Dan.
Cardinals Titans do anything for you guys?
Who?
A little bit.
Cardinals Titans.
Cardinals are one of those teams like NBA League Pass that you just like want to watch. I mean, I want to watch Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Like I want to watch that. I love that Colts Christmas matchup, frankly. against the Cardinals. So that was another one that I thought about. But I think Colts Seahawks a really good matchup.
No, it's going. You know what? I think it's going to be a good matchup because the anticipation of having Carson Wentz out there for the first time in a regular season game. How is he going to be with Frank Reich in his offense? How is he going to handle the foot? I think that's why it's intriguing. Any other time, I wouldn't say it's one of the must-see games. I think there's better games to watch this weekend, but I can't wait to get in Lucas Oil Stadium at 1 o'clock and see what Carson Wentz looks like. Because no matter how good DeForest Buckner, Darius Leonard, and that defense is, Carson Wentz, the Colts weren't going to go as far as Carson Wentz can drive that damn bus.
Dwayne Brown, the longtime left tackle in the NFL, he was holding in with the Seahawks. He will play on Sunday. They got that resolved in the last 24 hours. So Kwity Paye competition going to step up big time. The NFL season opens tomorrow night. The Bucs favored by 8 at home.
Are you one of those football guys? Are like tomorrow night? Will you, since it's the first game of the NFL season, will you be sitting on the couch, Rosie in the left arm, a Brewski in the right hand?
Well, hopefully Rosie doesn't make it till 8:20. Hopefully she's in bed before that. But yeah, I mean, it's a first game. Are you not? What else are you watching on Thursday night?
You know what? Listen, when Rosie gets of age...
I'm glad you're not doing the show on Friday now that you just admitted that.
Listen, when Rosie gets of age and starts playing sports or is a gymnast or ballerina or playing piano, you're going to be like, I got to DVR everything.
Rosie's favorite song right now is the Notre Dame fight song. I mean, I got her locked in right now.
Oh, my God. I feel sorry for your wife, man.
I got her. Rosie Bowe is locked in right now. She knows it's football season in the Bowen house. She also watched a lot of Solheim Cup.
Listen, once I see Rosie Bowen in a red FootJoy polo, then I'll know it's all on.
She got FootJoy shoes from her uncle, so thank you to Uncle Ryan for that. Pacers news, not good. TJ Warren, stress fracture in his left foot, is not healing at the pace they previously anticipated. He remains out indefinitely. The Pacers announced that yesterday. Here was TJ Warren back in May on a foot that he had surgery on in early January.
It's been tough. It's very unfortunate going through surgery, foot surgery. On the same foot I had for the second foot, same injury, but it wasn't a fun process at all. Just seeing what different type of holes I could have filled in for the team and different areas my presence could have been felt. But I just know it's the can't storm forever, and the sun has to come out. So just looking forward to that.
Yeah, unfortunately, to continue the weather analogy, still a little stormy with that rehab for TJ Warren. We'll get into a little bit later in the show just how the Pacers might replace him, assuming TJ Warren's going to miss time. The season opens on October 20th. Wells just frankly talking about him as an individual, how he is obsessed with the game of basketball, the David West connection, contract year at the age of 28, his first real time to cash in. It just flat out sucks, and I feel awful for the guy that this is lingering this long.
Yeah, I mean, there's never a good time for injuries, and when you combine his injury history, it's a double whammy. You want to get that first big payday, and he was on his way to doing it.
Yeah.
And now the fact that the Pacers come out and release a statement, several weeks before training camp starts, when nobody even asked, what is TJ Warren up to? That right there, that would send me running to the door. I would be scared, frightened on when TJ Warren is going to not only play in the game, but when the hell is he going to get on the practice court and do some 5-on-5 stuff?
Less than 3 weeks till training camp. As we said, October 20th, the season opens for the Pacers. A really tough stretch early in that schedule when you get to November. And I think it's a better Eastern Conference as well this year. I think it's a much deeper. Yeah, you got the 1, 2, 3, I think still, but I think 4 through, 8, 9 Wells, there's a lot of debate about where the Pacers would stand with those teams. Moving over to college football, Dan had on Tom Allen yesterday, and the coach was asked about if he saw the shellacking against Iowa coming.
To be honest with you, I didn't see it coming, and I didn't expect us to play like that. Didn't expect us to give up a touchdown within the first 4 plays on defense, and then throwing a pick six the next series and being down 14-0 before you could blink. Didn't expect any of that, and but you know what? Sometimes you take a couple haymakers and you gotta get back up and keep swinging. So we just didn't handle the environment very well.
Do you think instead of mints in the office of Tom Allen is just permanent throat lozenges?
Yes.
That voice, my throat hurts listening to him talk.
Well, it should be because the guy is so energetic. I don't know how he's able to keep going. I had. In my IU class last spring, I had one of the video guys, and he just raved about how animated.
Football video guys?
Yes, how animated Tom Allen is and how he is so positive and enthusiastic and everything and how he goes about stuff. If you're trying to build a program up and not, beat up on kids verbally, Tom Allen is the guy you want to kind of build up the program, which is perfect for IU because we all know IU football was basically, the stepchild to IU basketball, and some may say it's still that way.
I assume Tom Allen will continue to lose his voice as IU gets back to practice. They've got Idaho Saturday night. Purdue is at UConn. Ball State at Penn State this week. Indiana State, the Fighting JMVers, are at Northwestern. Notre Dame will host Toledo. That is on Peacock. For those of you that are obsessed with Notre Dame like myself, Peacock is what you have to have subscription.
Do you have Peacock?
Well, luckily, my wife and I really enjoyed watching the Olympics, so we had Peacock for that. And then they announced that this game would be on Peacock. I thought, we can't be deleting the subscription just yet.
Hey, I'm a sucker. Hey, Peacock got me during the Olympics too. I was a sucker.
Really?
I was teasing
Smart
you.
by them.
I was teasing you because what were you? Oh, when you were waking up in the middle of the night to watch the Olympic golf.
Oh yeah.
I was going
staying up late.
I was going to bed and then waking up at midnight to watch Team USA basketball. And when I realized, I'm like, oh damn, you got to have a subscription to Peacock. I got it, and like a sucker, I still have not canceled my subscription yet.
Hey, 2:30 Saturday, Notre Dame, Toledo, 16.5-point favorites.
Why the hell you want to watch them play Toledo?
Toledo, one of the better MAC teams this year, along with Ball State. Again, the new poll: Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. That is your top 5. Baseball last night, the Reds beat the Cubs finally 4-3. Wade Miley pitched great for the Reds. Bullpen held on. They are now tied again with the Padres. Blake Snell lost his perfect game in the 7th inning for the Padres, and then they lost the game. Angels scored twice in the 7th and the 9th as well. Brewers beat the Phillies, Dodgers over the Cardinals. Blue Jays beat the Yankees. Garrett Cole left due to hamstring tightness in the 4th inning. Twins over the Indians. White Sox over the A's. We come back here on the Fan Morning Show. We'll get in, I think, a little bit of season expectations, a few Colts questions as well. Touch on the TJ Warren news, how that impacts the lineup for the Pacers, starting lineup and rotation as well. 317-239-1070 at KBowen1070 at Mike Wells NFL if you want to join the conversation. Kevin Bowen, Mike Wells here on The Fan.
How real do I keep it? So real. How real do I keep it? So real. So real that Caesars will give you some authentic NFL gear when you bet $100 in September. So download the app and get live in-game betting, parlays, Caesars rewards, and some authentic NFL gear. I'm an official sponsor of the NFL, people!
Must be 21. Offer valid in Indiana only and for new and existing users who opt into this offer. Jersey awarded as a gift card. Options may vary. Terms and conditions apply. See Caesars.com/promos. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's Stan Dockich here with my wife, the lovely Lee Ross. Lee, we've had several jobs done at our house by the Michaelis Corporation. You've dealt with them way more than I did. You know I forget everything. Remind me, what was the scheduled work they did and how'd it go?
They were great to work with. Michaelis rebuilt a roof over our sunroom and a structure over our 2-story deck so we could sit outside on the lower level even when it's raining. The ladies at the office kept me informed every step of the way, and Michaelis did everything they said they would on schedule.
Here's what I know. It looks great, and you are happy. And when you are happy, I know it got done right, and oh, by the way, I'm happy.
Bill, Dave, James, Brandon, and the whole crew from Michaelis did a great job around the Dockich house.
Besides being great general contractors, Michaelis has experts in waterproofing, foundation repair, mold remediation, indoor air quality, emergency fire and flood restoration, and insurance restoration. Spelled M-I-C-H-A-E-L-I-S, pronounced Michaelis. Call 844-FIX-INDY or MichaelisCorp.com.
Hey, it's Rob Belushi from Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg. You may have heard there aren't any good deals on cars right now. Here's a secret. There are if you know where to look.
Why are you whispering, Rob? We've got great deals right now.
Brian, I'm letting everyone in on the secret.
Yeah, for the first time ever, Ford-certified pre-owned cars are priced up to $4,000 below Kelley Blue Book.
Brian, shh! We've got great deals on new cars, too.
New Escapes are $3,500 off, and new EcoSports are $5,750 off. See? We have great deals.
Brian, shh! These deals won't last, so we gotta keep them quiet.
Oh, right. It's a secret.
Most dealerships scream prices that aren't really deals. At Bill Estes Ford, if you listen closely,
you'll find out. Save $3,500 on new Escapes and $5,750 on new EcoSports.
And $4,000 below Kelley Blue Book value on certified pre-owned. Darn it, Brian, you made me yell now.
Well, Rob, you shouldn't keep secrets.
Listen closely for the real deal. $3,500 off Escapes, $5,750 off EcoSports. Your key is waiting at Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg.
Hey, Indiana, with Unibet Sportsbook's Level Up Parlay Booster, you can get unlimited parlay boosts of up to 50%. Sign up today to get $500 risk-free. Build a parlay no one else in Indiana could have thought of. Download the app or visit in.unibet.com. Unibet Sportsbook. Crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Sports with Dan Dakich.
Matt Taylor joins us, the voice of the Colts. Who impressed you in the preseason?
Not that I didn't think I was going to be impressed by Mike Strawn, a 7th-round draft pick. It's a really, really cool story. He's a great guy, and I think he's got just a lot of potential. I don't think he's anywhere near reaching his ceiling right now, Dan. I think he's going to be a really, really good football player for the Colts.
Dan Dakich, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. You're listening to the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Thanks to Stephen Holder for joining us. Mark will have that up on the podcast. Matthew Berry in the 9 o'clock hour, ESPN fantasy expert. For those of you that have yet to draft, maybe got a last-minute draft, or if not, just some injury questions and waiver wire stuff. We'll get to him about 9:30 is our hope there with Matthew Berry. Fantasy-wise. Couple open segments, 317-239-1070, K-Bowen 1070 on Twitter, and at Mike Wells NFL. We'll get into some Colts expectations here. Scotty tweeted this in, Wells. He goes, I hate to go back down the COVID road, but I got to ask, if Carson Wentz misses 3 games or more from COVID, but plays well, and the Colts miss the playoffs because of it, is it on Frank for picking him? How hot will his seat be?
Ooh. Well, Frank Reich's seat is never going to get hot. I mean, they got to go 0-17 before the seat to even start bubbling for Frank Reich.
Because of Jim Irsay's commitment to him?
Yes, from the commitment on that. But with that said, if Carson Wentz misses 3 games and the Colts, barely miss the playoffs, it is on Frank Reich because he handpicked Carson Wentz to be their quarterback. And you want to have somebody you can depend on. And I know people going to say it's everybody's right to be vaccinated or if they choose not to be vaccinated. I look at it as you're part of a team. Your team depends on you. And yes, anybody can get COVID. But with that said, if you're not vaccinated and you're a close contact, we saw what happened last week to Zach Pascal, Carson Wentz, and Ryan Kelly. And let's just say this Friday, they put one of those guys, one of those guys on the one of the unvaccinated players on the COVID reserve list, and they have to sit out. You're like, how in the hell am I supposed to depend on this guy? And that's where Frank falls in line. And I know that's the one thing I don't agree with the Colts. They're a very tight organization. They want to stay close, but at some point you got to kind of put your foot down. And I give Chris Ballard credit last week when he spoke to us, and he says, yes, I believe everybody should be vaccinated. Everybody should get in, and he's not talking about just the people in the organization, but everybody as a whole. And I don't want this to happen. And, if you're a Colts fan, you don't want Carson Wentz to be or any unvaccinated player to have to miss time. But if it were to happen, all those people who are screaming and yelling, talking about, oh, it's their right, they can do whatever they want. When you get pissed off that the Colts missed a playoff or lost a game because they didn't have a key player, you just remember you said that.
One thing to note on the Wentz front is Scotty's question. I mean, 3 games, that'd be a whole lot, for COVID. I guess that could be close contact, and he would test positive.
It could be 3. It could be 3 different times, so KB.
Right. But yeah. I mean, gosh, that would be like that would be awful luck. But again, you are playing the game of luck right now on that front here. I've said a few weeks back, something Wells of like, we can argue about Colts' record this season, Colts winning the division for the first time since 2014, all that. To me, the biggest question you have to find out this season is Carson Wentz the future of your franchise or not? You have got to find the answer to that, good or bad. That question has got to be there because I've said this before. I really feel like had they known Justin Fields was falling out of the top 10, they would have traded up for Justin Fields. I really believe that. I think that is the route that they would have gone down had they known that. Now, obviously, in January or February when they made the trade for Wentz and everybody thought like Fields is going top 5, they didn't know that. But that is the question that you have to get answered. I agree with you, Wells, in saying like Frank Reich, is not going to be on the hot seat anytime soon because of Jim Irsay's commitment to him. But if Wentz does not work out and you miss the playoffs, that seat has got to get warm. I don't care if you've signed them through 2026. If you've got to restart the quarterback process again, how are you not on the hot seat?
And that's my thing. That is the biggest question mark this season and long term, the quarterback spot. I mean, it has been they are changing quarterbacks the same way people change their underwear these days. That's so much. I mean, you're going into.
You love a good underwear comment.
Hey, I'm all about the Lululemon underwear, by the way.
Oh, jeez. You need to move to Carmel, man.
No, I'm gonna stick out there to the West Side version of Carmel called Brownsburg. But think about this: since 2017, Scott Tolzien, Andrew Luck, Jacoby Brissett, Phillip Rivers, and now Carson Wentz. This franchise was a bunch of spoiled kids from 1998 all the way until essentially 2015 when Andrew Luck started getting injured. 17 years of having two great quarterbacks that they could depend on, and now they still can't find that guy.
Quarterback purgatory.
Yes. And that's what they have. They have to find a way to get that resolved, because no matter, Chris Ballard has said it's not about one player. Let's be real. At some point, a quarterback has to make a play. You need to have that franchise quarterback. We saw what happened with San Francisco against Kansas City in the Super Bowl. Their defense was great, but come the fourth quarter, Patrick Mahomes made plays. Jimmy Garoppolo went into the fetal position. You have to have a quarterback you can depend on, and the Colts don't have that as of today, September 8th, 2021.
Nate says if Carson Wentz gets COVID and misses games, does that count toward time missed regarding the draft picks in the trade? Yeah, I don't think there's any COVID stipulations in that as well. What is it? Well, 75% of play time. If Carson Wentz plays 75% of the snaps, you send them a first-round pick.
Well, since he's playing all 17 games this year, Philly's getting that first-round pick.
The boldest of bold from Wells yesterday. Let's go to George on line 1, calling in the Fan Morning Show. Good morning, George.
Hey, morning, KB. How are you, buddy?
Good. Yourself?
Doing great. Hey, just real quick, I just want to revisit your question to Mike there about whose fault is it if Carson doesn't work out this year or long term? And I think the answer is more than just Frank Reich. I think there's a level of responsibility on Carson, there's a level of responsibility on Frank, and on Chris Ballard. And regardless of if it puts them on the hot seat or not, and by the way, I do agree with you, the seat should definitely get hotter if it don't work out. Everybody would have contributed to it because everybody's got a level of accountability, right? So it's shared responsibility, and I don't know. I'm just not feeling good about where they're currently at right now.
By the way,
thank you, George. I'm nodding my head at that call.
I love, and by the way, I love that Southern drawl too, man. I'm a big fan of that Southern drawl right there. You know what? He made a great point. It should be pressure on Chris Ballard too, and Jim Irsay signed off on it. No matter what happens, Jim Irsay has the final say.
Wells, hear me out on this. I think Frank Reich believes in Carson Wentz like 99.9%. Like I think that's where Frank Reich is on Carson Wentz. I think Chris Ballard's belief in Carson Wentz is like 85%. I think Reich's got more of it. Ballard, I think, was backed into a little corner of like, what else am I going to do? I mean, Ballard, we know internally how the Colts feel about Matthew Stafford. It's not very good. No. Like I don't think that was a super realistic possibility there. But to George's point, yes, there's accountability that has to be had from owner, GM, and head coach. But I just think Reich believes in Wentz more than Ballard does.
Let's be real. Frank Reich, whoever's playing quarterback for the Colts, Frank Reich believes in.
Yeah, but Carson Wentz is like a son to him.
Yeah.
And Carson, I mean, yes, he loved Jacoby. We know that. He made comments about Jacoby being a top 20 quarterback, all that. Yes, but Carson Wentz is at a whole nother level.
Phillip Rivers is at a whole nother level, too.
Yeah,
but no, you should think about it. Frank believes no matter who the hell is quarterbacking, he's going to get him right. I think that's why Jacob Eason is the backup quarterback, and they didn't go out and get a veteran one. They felt like that, A, Eason was in the system last year, and B, that they can mold him to be ready to take snaps if and when Wentz misses some time.
Let's get to Dwayne. Dwayne is on line 2. Dwayne, welcome to the Fan Morning Show.
Hey, how you guys doing this morning?
Good. Thanks for calling.
I know you guys have probably answered this 100 times, but Let me ask you, just say that Wentz, we're playing Tampa Bay. One of the defensive players gets checked on Monday morning, and it shows he's got COVID. Tell me, everybody on the offense for that week is going to sit out for 5 days for contact tracing. Is that correct or not?
Thank you, Dwayne, for the call.
You got to be around them. It's 15 minutes,
Yes.
I believe.
So, Dwayne, I believe the close contact rules are within 6 feet for, like you said, Wells, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's why last year when we saw, and honestly, when you looked at the teams that played each other last year and guys that tested positive, a couple days after, you really didn't see a lot of that meshing over. So, Dwayne, to your point, no, that would not be the case. The close contact has got to be 15 minutes. I think at one point it was 15 consecutive minutes. I'm not sure if that's the case at all. Obviously, 15 consecutive minutes wouldn't happen during a game because, you aren't on the field for that long.
And Darius Leonard, who's not vaccinated, he's probably been the most open player on the Colts roster and talking about how they are handling the situation being unvaccinated. And if I'm not mistaken, he says something like, essentially you only get like 2 minutes and then you got to move away from somebody. I mean, it's like basically if an unvaccinated player is long-winded, he ain't got no damn chance to tell to tell the complete story because that 2 minutes is going to be up and he's got to keep it moving. I don't like that because it's like you're sitting there having to it's like playing Frogger. You got to bounce around inside the facility and make sure you don't get close to somebody.
Well, if the story sucks, I don't mind moving on.
That's true. And we all got people that we don't like to talk to in that area.
To Dwayne's point, and Stephen Holder brought this up earlier, the Colts have got to win the close contact game this year. Like internally in your building, it's why I asked Reich or Ballard maybe last week about, do you isolate a quarterback? Like you have got to make sure that Carson Wentz, in particular, among other players, are not exposed to anybody for that long of a stretch. All right, let's hit a break here on the Fan Morning Show. Still want to get to the TJ Warren starting kind of trickle-down effect from that as well, and a few more Colts questions that we got to get to, along with Mike Wells and I giving our predictions. Should we do that today, Wells, or tomorrow? Record.
No, you know what? Yeah, I gotta end things by doing it tomorrow.
Okay.
Because I might get my prediction today and people say, Wells, we didn't want you on the air anyway, so really don't bring your ass back tomorrow now.
Well, I think you look at it as if I give a bad prediction, I can just run out of town and no one has to.
No, trust me, because if I'm on with Dockage tomorrow, people will get on me about it. And then when I'm on, after I get done serenading JMV on Friday afternoon, people will mess with me about it.
Yeah, we got windows broken in Brownsburg from your serenading. He's Mike Wells. I'm Kevin Bowen. You're listening to the Fan Morning Show here on 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
Hey, the NFL is back, and DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving all customers the opportunity to participate in this year's no-brainer offer. DraftKings Sportsbook has moved the spread to Tampa Bay plus 73 for all customers. That means you can still cash in as long as the reigning champs don't lose by 74 points. And if you haven't tried it yet, DraftKings is giving new customers $200 in free bets instantly when they bet $1 or more on any football game. All you got to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use promo code WFNI. New customers bet $1 on any football game to receive $200 in free bets instantly with code WFNI this week only at DraftKings Sportsbook. You got to be 21 or older, Indiana only. Free bet promotion for new customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Maximum wager limits do apply. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo.
What is the present? Well, it's the perfect time to call Golden Oak to find out how much money you can save.
Who are you? I'm future you.
And I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Home values are up, which means you have more equity than you think. A refinance now could be the best gift you could give your future self.
Thanks, me.
At Golden Oak, our local lending experts speak mortgage and love translating for our customers. With a cash-out refi, you could finish a home project, pay off credit cards, or even consolidate bills. The present is a gift, especially if it comes with extra cash in your pocket. So take advantage of our low 2.25% rate. Visit GoldenOakLending.com today.
NMLS 114937. 2.25% fixed. 3.195% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hey, it's Big Joe for Payless Liquors, your tailgating headquarters. Half-gallon sizes of Jim Beam White Label are only $26.99. Ron Rico Rum, $13.99. Pop-Off Vodka, $8.99. And Bud Light 15-pack aluminum bottles are only $15.99. Plus, sign up at PaylessLiquors.com for your chance to see Peyton and Edrin get their rings at the Colts-Rams game for the Bud Light Fan Zone. Payless Liquors has 26 family-owned Central Indiana locations, and they're open 7 days a week. Don't pay more, get more, and pay less at Payless Liquors.
Fall in Indy. And for 20 years, Rhino Shield's been covering Indiana homes like your neighbor Elsie.
My husband he had been reading about Rhino Shield. We were just impressed.
And Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
And we had our all the trim and everything done. And they even did the ceiling of our front porch.
Indianapolis, fall just got better. Celebrate Rhino Shield covering Indiana homes for 20 years for 20% off the regular price.
Oh my, it looks brand new. Saves us painting, and we get compliments even today about how nice it looks and everything.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
There's Pablo in his natural habitat, opening his internet bill in fear. He just saw his 12-month promotional price ended. Uh-oh, and he just discovered the equipment fees. Back away slowly.
If your internet bill drives you wild, just remember, you're not a bad person. You just need a straightforward price. Get AT&T Fiber. Unlimited internet with no price increase at 12 months. Visit att.com/no hidden fees. Limited availability in select areas.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Mortgage rates drop again, creating opportunities for refinancing everywhere. At thehomeloanexpert.com, we are locking loans in the low twos, saving our clients hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month with a simple refinance. And with our 21-day closing guarantee, you know we will not waste your time. The 5-minute loan approval, only available at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hey, join me today, noon to 3. We're going to have Cappy on. Our friend David Kaplan is going to join us. A little Seth Greenberg as we get ready, ladies and gentlemen, for the opening of the NFL season. I can't wait.
It's the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Mike Wells in today, again tomorrow as well. We'll be up at Colts practice here in a little bit. We'll get back into a little bit of Colts chatter in just a second. Big Pacer news, though, yesterday with TJ Warren, his rehab from the foot injury not going well. Pacers announced that he remains out indefinitely, and they originally thought he'd be full go for training camp, Wells, and clearly that is not going to happen less than 3 weeks away from the start of training camp. Starting lineup-wise, how do you think this impacts things? Because I thought, honestly, there were some whispers of, maybe Rick Carlisle wouldn't go with the two bigs in the starting lineup, and maybe TJ Warren could play the four. Obviously, that's not going to be the case. Do you think Justin Holiday gets thrown in the starting lineup? Would you throw Chris Duarte in there as a rookie?
Duarte, he's got to earn it. I mean,
he's 24 years old. I mean, it's not like this is some 19-year-old freshman.
Yeah, but he's got to come in and he's got to outplay Justin Holiday in training camp. You can't just say this kid's gonna step in, because let's be real, making the playoffs is going to be tough. So the wiggle room is not. There's not a lot there for the Pacers. So if Duarte comes in and balls out like he did at Oregon and outplays Justin Holiday, yes, make him the starter. But I like Holiday. I like his ability to stretch the floor and knock down a three.
But is he good for that second unit? We got, I know Alex Golden chimed in. We had Fowler chimed in as well, kind of on two different sides of it. Alex Golden says you go with Holiday, safer. Obviously been there, kind of done that. Whereas Fowler says play the young guy. It's one of those things where
you say play the young guy. That's like saying, hey, let's just the Pacers should tank.
Well, I don't think it's tanking, because I don't think they look at Chris Duarte as tanking. I think they look at him as, if he's not ready to go right away, frankly, why are you spending the 13th overall pick on him? Like, he's got to give you something. And I also don't think it's not like you're married to the starting lineup to close out games. We've seen the Pacers certainly close out games.
It's not who starts; it's who finishes out games. You brought up a great point. You said you were wondering, if Carlisle would go to two bigs, meaning Domantas Sabonis and Miles Turner. If you were to move one to the bench, who would it be and why?
Well, first, I'd move neither to the bench. If you're going to move one, you move one out of town. You don't pay a big man $20 million per year at the age of 25 to sit on the bench. Like, that's just not what you do. If I'm going to move one to the God, I mean, I don't know.
You
Probably
guys,
Turner. It just, like, I don't get the roster construction. I don't get all this investment into centers. Even the kid out of Kentucky who I really like. I like Isaiah Jackson, but, like, where does he fit? Like, where are the minutes for him? It's just not how you build any sort of contending team in today's NBA. The other point that Alex Golden made was this injury to Warren could benefit Indiana in two ways, he says. It opens up a spot in the rotation to play Jeremy Lamb and maybe increase his trade value. It also could help Indiana in contract negotiations for Warren's extension. I mean, Alex, that is very optimistic look at it because, as Wells was saying, I mean, how long does this linger for TJ Warren? Do you want damaged goods back? How much of a contract extension are you given? I said this when Victor Oladipo went down. That injury to Victor and how he plays the game of basketball was so devastating to him because he's never going to be a dead-eye shooter. Victor is not some premier ball handler that, can get to the rim and base off his handles. He's got to have that explosive athletic ability.
Victor Oladipo is just a prima donna.
Well, that too.
I mean, he's a gigantic prima donna.
But even when you watch his game right now, it's not at the level that it once was because he
doesn't have explosiveness. Yeah,
he's there. So the whole Warren point, sure, might Jeremy Lamb get some more minutes, but who's to say Jeremy Lamb's going to stay healthy? He suffered a really big knee injury and hasn't looked the same.
Exactly. By the way, I like to ask questions that I don't want to answer. That that's why I asked you about who would you move to the bench. First of all, I do agree. If you have to put one of them on the bench, get one of them. You got to trade one of them and get something out because
this is a guard and wing league. You trade one of the bigs for one of those.
Yeah. So who would you trade?
I'd trade Turner because I think
JMV's gonna lock the doors. You're not gonna be allowed back in here.
And I think JMV have had very mature conversations about this. I'm not anti-Turner as a player. I think he can be effective in the NBA. But when you look at skill sets, to me, Sabonis is more unique. Sabonis is an unbelievable facilitator, makes the offense run from a pick standpoint, can go get you a quick bucket, one of the best passers certainly on the team as well. And if you look at the development of Domas lately, he came out there and, had a better percentage from three last year than Miles. I know the volume wasn't the same, but that's something that I think you can tap into. Plus, I think in Goga and Isaiah Jackson, a little bit more similar skill sets to what Miles brings.
And here's one other thing we haven't even touched on. Rick Carlisle's coaching style. Miles Turner's style of play is more of a transition type offense where he can get up and down the court, you hit that trail three-pointer from the top of the key, fly in for a dunk, and, take the pass and fly in for a dunk, protect the rim on defense and get out and go. Rick Carlisle is a very methodical, half-court oriented head coach, which is why Porzingis and Luka didn't work well together. And don't get me wrong, I mean, clearly you're going with Luka, 10 out of 10 times we've yet to take one of the two. But so if they're going to run a half-court offense, it's not going to work with Miles and Sabonis. It's just not going to work because of Miles's need to be out and running.
Tom goes, Pacers aren't going to the Eastern Conference Finals, play the rookie. I probably agree with a good amount of that, Tom. And I also, what I was saying to Wells earlier, just because you start the guy doesn't mean he plays 40 minutes a game. I look at it like this. You start Brogdon, LeVert, Duarte. They're probably going to go with the two bigs. So let's say Sabonis and Turner in the starting lineup. Then you've got a bench where you're still bringing McConnell, Sumner, who I think deserves more run. I liked what he gave you late last year. Torrey Craig, O'Shea Brissett, maybe Jeremy Lamb. And then obviously we'll see what happens with Goga and Isaiah Jackson as well. That's probably how I would roll. Justin Holiday is the other name I should mention. Certainly that's going to be in that bench unit as well. John was in the YouTube chat. What will expiring of TJ Warren and Goga net? I mean, look at these injury histories. Look at what Victor just just sign for. I don't think anybody's taking a chance unless you really are seeing them healthy and seeing them able to produce. He's Mike Wells, NFL on Twitter. I'm KBowen1070 on Twitter. We come back on the Fan Morning Show. Matthew Berry at the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. Fantasy guru. We're going to give him a call, talk some fantasy football with him. Wells and I will get back into the Colts conversation as well. Phone lines are open, 317-239-1070.
Hey, it's Jimmy Cook here to tell you about PicksWise, the #1 home of free sports betting picks. Visit PicksWise.com today and make your next bet better. Never visited PicksWise.com before? Well, you need to. Why? Because they are indeed free. You'll see countless sites that tout selling you a month of picks and then offering you an extra free month if their plays fail to make a profit. If you're tired of losing money and paying for picks, then bookmark PicksWise.com and enjoy their daily free picks. The PicksWise team of trend-watching, data-devouring sports fanatics will help you wade through the minutia and give you the who, how, and why behind the what for every prediction they make. Go to PicksWise.com and see for yourself why they are the #1 home of free sports betting picks, props, and parlays. PicksWise.com for every game and every sport, all for free. PicksWise.com. Make your next bet better. PicksWise backs responsible gambling. If you or someone you know wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
High school sports fans, this is IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig, and I'd like to introduce you to new Assistant Commissioner Brian Lewis.
Thank you, Paul. I can't tell you how excited I am to be part of the team.
We know you're going to excel in your role. High school sports have been a huge part of your life.
That's right. I played high school sports, I coached high school sports, and I was an athletic director.
You truly lived high school sports. Tell the fans why they're so important to you.
Because high school sports are education-based athletics, and as a former teacher, I know firsthand how effective they are in teaching lessons outside of the classroom.
Real-life lessons.
100%. They teach teens how to overcome adversity.
How to work hard, how to get better every single day.
Absolutely. And I think most importantly, how to be part of a team.
Well, Brian, welcome to our team.
This is your team. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Franklin Central hosts Zionsville on Friday Night Football. The action begins at 7 on 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan. It's the Fan Morning Show.
Speaking of rivals, my good friend Tom Brady is here tonight. By the time he is inducted...
with Kevin Bowen.
Oh, baby!
On 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
Welcome back to the Fan Morning Show. Kevin Bowen. And I believe the bathroom is being occupied right now by Mike Wells. Whew. Jeez. Did he think Marco was a 10-minute break?
I don't know. I hope we stocked up on Febreze, though.
I was going to say, I saw, our cleaning lady going through earlier. I'm a little nervous. I looked at her card. I'm not sure there was enough.
She's going to resign by the end of the day.
Yeah, that could be. Sorry, HR. We could be looking for someone. Kevin Bowen, Mike Wells, whenever he walks back in studio here on the Fan Morning Show. Matthew Berry, ESPN fantasy expert, going to join us at the bottom of the hour.
Hey, Bowen, man, when you get past 40, you'll realize you got to go to the bathroom a lot more frequently, man. You're still wet behind the ears in your 20s still.
Man, if the cleaning lady gets a vote of who's gonna, become the permanent co-host, I don't know if she's voting for Mike Wells after that one.
Listen, I drink a lot of water, so yes, once you get over 40, you realize you got to go pee like every 20 minutes. You learn something new every day, man. I got you.
Did you hear me coming back on air and realize, I should probably get back in there?
Well, I wasn't going to put my business in the streets until Mike, with Mike Wells, whenever he decides to walk back in here. So
come on now, we should treat our listeners like their family, and
family talks about everything.
Family talks about everything.
We put everything in the streets.
Let's go to Ramon. Wants to get back into the Pacers conversation. What's up, Ramon?
Hey, how you guys doing, Bowen? And Wells, I appreciate you guys. And Wells, I always just first time listening to you, Bowen. I think I've heard you before, but Wells, you always tell like it is. The Pacers, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I watched Milwaukee last year, and they had that eye of the tiger. Drew Holiday locked down Chris Paul and Devin Booker. That was the turning point to me when he took them both. You gotta have just eye to the tiger. I don't see it. Miles Turner should have been shipped. I don't understand it. This franchise has shipped people in the past. He should have been shipped. It's not going to work. That 2-headed monster is not going to work. It's just not going to work. And Carlisle may be frustrated with them a little bit. Watch Carlisle early and see, because think about it. It's anybody's horse racing in all sports: baseball, basketball, football. Alabama's the only sure thing. And when is Indiana going to do something? Thanks, Sigmund.
Thank you, Ramon. He brought it, Wells.
He did.
I think there's a lot of validity there.
No, he did. And let's be real. I mean, Giannis is the real deal. Middleton can get you buckets, but Drew Holiday was the X factor for the Bucks. I mean, he was X factor for Team USA
I
also too.
I was going to say that he was a dog for them over in Tokyo.
Yeah, over in Tokyo. So you got to have that. You got to have that dog. You got to have that pit bull in you. And who on the roster is that dog?
I was such a fan of the Pacers trading up for Donovan Mitchell, just because I feel like he gave some of that. Donovan Mitchell. What's the kid's name for Baylor? Davion Mitchell. Not Don. Yeah,
listen. If they get Donovan Mitchell from Utah, right. Hey, more props to him.
Right. But I feel like he's got a little Drew Holiday in his game of a guy that can bring it on both ends of the floor. But yeah, I just don't see that right now with this team, Wells. And I've gotten into this before. The whole roster construction thing. If you look at like the assets the Pacers have, young guys under contract, all that stuff. There's way too much invested in the bigs. Turner, Sabonis, Goga, and now Isaiah Jackson, who was a top 25 pick as well. You've got to move one of them. There's a logjam in the front court, and in a guard wing-driven league, when you are injury-prone back there and not as dynamic back there on both ends of the floor, that's where I think a change needed to be made. And I thought it was a mistake of them running it back this offseason.
That's what I was about to ask. You just feel like they screwed up. You know what? So a player we don't talk about enough that maybe deserves to be brought into the mix of things is Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah, I'm not sold on him at all.
I mean, he ran Nate McMillan out the door. He was part of the reason that they got rid of Nate McMillan, and we saw how much that worked last year with Bjorken. That didn't work out too well either. And you look at playing the number of games, Malcolm Brogdon also has missed time with injury. So
yeah, I brought that up earlier, Wells. Brogdon, I think, has averaged to miss over 20 games per season in his career. I mean, that's a big number. Big number when you're paying him $20 million a year and you gave up a first-round pick for him. TJ Warren, I think he's averaged to miss over 30 games in his career. Like the whole, we hope they're going to stay healthy and all that.
You use the word hope a lot, by the way,
because that's what people are saying when they're like, run it back. Haven't seen this team healthy. Yeah, I hope to meet Tiger Woods one day and not pee my pants. But, that's probably not going to happen. Neither me meeting Tiger Woods, or if I did, I'd probably pee my pants. So, yeah, you got to live in reality. You got to live in reality here. And these injury histories with both of those players in particular stand out. I know Eric wanted to hit on the Pacers as well. Let's get to Eric on line 3. What's up, Eric?
Hi.
What do you got?
I guess for getting rid of players and stuff, do you think you can get any value out of Goga and Brogdon, getting rid of both of them?
You get something.
For anything decent? Or are people you think really set on getting rid of either Sabonis or Turner?
Yeah, thank you, Eric.
I like both of them. Yeah, bye.
No, thank you. Thank you for the call.
Hey man, you out here acting like JJ from the Colts, stepping on somebody's question, man.
No, that was great. That was a great question there. I thought he was done. Brogdon and Goga, I mean, yeah, you get a starter for that. I mean, Brogdon's a starter.
Well,
Goga, I thought Goga took some steps last season. Not as many as you'd like to see, but I thought he took a few more steps. Obviously, with the European guys, it's always the balance of how patient are you going to be? Are they ever going to reach that potential? Whatnot. I feel like you get more out of trading a Sabonis or a Turner, to me. And it goes back to Wells' question earlier to me about, who would you bench out of those two? Well, frankly, when you're in a market like Indiana, you can't be having a $20 million big man coming off the bench.
The reality is the Pacers are screwed because they don't have, outside of Turner and Sabonis, they don't have much trade value for anybody else on that roster.
Right.
If you're an opposing GM, you're calling Kevin Pritchard. Kevin Pritchard says, you know what, we'll trade anybody but Sabonis and Turner. If you're opposing GM, I am not picking up the phone and saying, hey, Kevin, let's make a deal for blah, 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 blah. Because there's nobody on that roster that I would want if I'm another GM. Not one player.
That's damning. But I think there's a lot of truth to it, to be honest with you. Drew goes, let's be honest, even with the TJ Warren injury, which he'd argue is not devastating in the least, I'd disagree with that. There's still a huge logjam for playing time. You make a bench rotation of 7 players and typically 4 to 7 play. There are going to be some angry dudes in jumpsuits come game day, which, yeah, I mean, the Pacers have, I would say a group of about 10 or 11 guys that are legit NBA players, and obviously you're not going to go down that road. Where the Warren injury is devastating, Wells, is because, to your point you just made there, even if you never thought TJ Warren was going to be a number 1 guy on a legit playoff caliber team, you're losing trade value. You're losing the injury history of TJ Warren continues to add up. And this is part of my argument about trading Turner or Sabonis. If you go this year and you don't move Turner or Sabonis, Turner's now in a contract year. You know full well, covering the NBA, Wells, how much players lose value when they're in their contract years. Yep. You don't have that same sort of leverage when you're going back and forth with another team. I looked at this offseason as the last true chance to move one of those bigs and get a substantial amount in return.
I agree with you on that. You know what? With TJ Warren, think about this. If Pacers are like, all right, you know what? We're not going to re-sign him. If you're a team that says, okay, we can, unload a bench player for TJ Warren and see what happens, and if it pans out, hey, we can try to re-sign him. Or if it doesn't, we say, hey, we gave up a reserve guy and he walks free agency.
I know it's not the same injury, Wells, but TJ Warren has a longer injury history than Victor Oladipo. And you imagine what you could get for Victor Oladipo right now?
A bag of Cheetos and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I was going to say, head over to the vending machine right now and see what $2 or $3 can get my peanut butter donuts could be coming back.
The peanut butter and jelly sandwich I brought in studio this morning is better than what Victor Oladipo can do right now.
Ryan is on line 1. Ryan, what's up?
Morning, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on.
You bet.
This Warren news makes Kevin Pritchard look like a fool. This is the guy that, because he was injured last year, Pritchard had all these lame excuses treating TJ Warren like he's the second coming of Kevin Durant. I'm sick of the excuses from Pritchard. I'm sick of this roster. I'm sick of the rumors. Oh, everybody wants Miles Turner. They can't trade Miles Turner because nobody wants the guy because he's a bum.
Thank you, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan had like a quadruple shot of espresso before he came on the air talking
Dan
about
special
this.
right there.
I was going to say, he didn't go 0 to 60. He went 0 to, he qualified for the pole in the Indy 500.
Oh,
with that
my goodness.
There.
Hey, he was, as he was on hold, he was like, all right, deep breath, woosah, woosah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Push the baby out. And then Ryan certainly, boy, I don't even know where to begin with there. I think we've made it clear. Our opinions on Kevin Pritchard. I think both Wells and I have said the feet to the fire of Kevin Pritchard a little bit more than most there. And I would disagree. I'm trying to sift through what Ryan just said there. I would say that I do think Miles Turner has trade value. I just think there's a stubbornness inside of the Pacers organization to make it work.
Yeah, I'm sorry, KB, man. My man Ryan's got me. He's got me all messed up.
Man, you
in the
imagine
head.
at 9, 10 in the morning dialing it up like that? I mean, he made Doyle look like Doyle was tame at times last week. Oh, man.
My.
K-Bo at 1070 on Twitter. If you want to be a little calmer, maybe go with 180 character route. Mike Wells NFL on Twitter as well. Let's get back into a little bit of Colts conversation. Ryan kind of capped our day for the old Pacers chatter. Ron had this question for us. Well, should we be concerned? We were talking depth chart earlier about the depth chart at linebacker past Darius Leonard, Bobby Okereke. Basically, if one of them were to get hurt, how concerning would that be?
I've always thought that was an issue. I'm not saying Anthony Walker was the end of be-all. He wasn't fast, but he was a smart football player. And I was curious on what they were going to do at the linebacker spot once Walker left via free agency. And we all saw the writing on the wall for Anthony Walker.
Yeah, I think Walker wanted to leave, knowing that the playing time wasn't going to be.
He played 18 snaps against Buffalo in the playoff game.
Yeah.
And now you're looking at, Zaire Franklin, Matthew Evans. I think the player I'm very curious about is EJ Speed. I know he's a special teams guy, but I've been intrigued by him ever since they drafted him because he had an opportunity to go D1. If I'm not mistaken, it was his brother or a cousin, somebody, why he went to a small school in
Tarleton
Texas.
State.
Yeah. It was dealing with some health issues or something. But I'm curious on him if he can take another step and potentially move ahead of Zaire Franklin.
Who would win, Tarleton State or Simon Fraser?
I'm going with Tarleton State because them boys in Texas know how to play some football, no matter if you're playing D1 or at the JUCO level.
Well, as we were saying earlier, it's a family here on the Fan Morning Show, and we, can air anything out there. You look at EJ Speed. I think he's the best-looking athlete on the football team. Like, you watch that dude rocking pads,
yeah,
and you're like, I want him coming off the bus early.
Yes,
that is a good-looking athlete.
Now you got me thinking, man. Now you got me sitting there thinking about
the other guy and
DeForest Buckner.
Oh my
gosh,
gosh! You look at Buckner, you're like, that dude weighs 295 pounds.
Exactly.
He's got, hell, I'm weighing 200, and I look like, I just finished off a cheese and a case of beer.
Man, like you was eating a bowl of cereal like Mark or something, man. But yeah, no, I never looked at EJ Speed that way. I mean, we are really opening up some new doors on the show together, KP.
Hey, am I wrong though?
No, you are right. You are definitely right. But yeah, DeForest Buckner's the guy I look at. I'm like, oh my God.
And so the speed question is like, what can that turn into? Because we've only really seen him play on special teams. I think Zaire Franklin is your third linebacker, to get back to Ron's point. Just more of a kind of a thumper in the run game. The Colts really feel like Zaire Franklin can give them similar stuff to what Anthony Walker gave them. I don't know if I'd go there, but that's something to keep in mind. David goes, I think that last dude, Ryan, thought he was calling the Jim Rome show. Yeah, I don't. Boy, Ryan, that was something. Brad, too, it's easy to say trade Miles, but when you put his skill set and contract together, who are you targeting to get equal or better value? Miles is a very good player on a great contract. And see free agent signings, names of players you want in return. I think Miles, given his skill set, Wells, is a rim protector and a guy that can shoot the three. He's not a dead-eye three-point shooter, but can shoot it. Clearly Charlotte has been a team that's been rumored a whole lot for him. I think Boston has been rumored. I look at him and packaging. I was a fan of packaging him in the 13th overall pick, and could you have moved up? And how far up could you have gotten? I was thinking a little bit more bigger picture, Davion Mitchell. Jalen Suggs fell a little bit in the draft. What did Suggs fall to, like 5?
Yeah, I think it might have been 7. He went to Orlando.
Yeah, because he's there with kind of a logjam of guards.
Yes,
Cole Beasley and Fultz. Isn't Fultz down there now?
Yeah.
With the Magic as well. So I was thinking, could you move up in the draft, get dynamic in the backcourt, a Suggs, maybe a Mitchell? You might have had to package something else. But, again, to the point, I think Turner has value. I just think his value is less here in Indiana when you pair him with another big.
And one thing that we haven't talked about with Turner is he has zero. You probably have a better back-to-the-basket game than Miles Turner.
Low-key, I do have a pretty good back-to-the-basket game.
Yeah, he has no back-to-the-basket game, and he can face you up, but he's not gonna put the ball on the ground and beat you off the dribble too often.
No.
I mean, you gotta be going against a stiff for Miles Turner to beat somebody off the dribble.
We're gonna have Matthew Berry, ESPN fantasy guru, on in about 10 minutes or so. Let's sneak Troy in before we hit a break here. Troy, I want to talk about Miles Turner.
Yeah, I just, I'm really tired about I'll be glad when they trade Miles because he'll be playing for a world championship in 3 years within his trade. That's what I don't understand.
Where's he going?
He's probably going to end up going to Golden State or somewhere out west, Portland.
Well, they better get Wiseman back in return then.
All right, they're going to have Wiseman too. But this is the thing with Miles. After all the coaches we've had, Miles has been in the league leaders in shot blocks, okay? And then you got him in the pick and pop on offensive end when he's out of position to rebound. And he's guarding everybody else's man. That's the only way he's blocking shots. He's not blocking his own man shot that he's guarding. He's blocking the guard shot that can't stay in front of their darn men. So I don't understand about the coach. Everybody said, go to the block, Miles. Go to the block. Put him on the block. Put him on the block. That's a good idea, but guess what? Every coach we've had, Miles is out around the three-point line, playing pick and pop with the point guard, which is out of position to rebound. And then on the defensive end, he's blocking shots, which he's spanning over for the guards whose man has beaten them. So he's out of position to rebound again, and his man. And then another thing, one more thing before I get off here. You know, we talk about these guys that are everybody that's gotten the best of Miles are first team and second and third team all NBA.
Okay, why can't Miles Turner be that guy?
He's not that guy yet, and he may not never be that guy.
Yeah, you might as well take the word "yet" out.
Appreciate it, Troy. Thank you for the call. We do have to run here. To Troy's point, first and second teamers are getting the best of Turner. Wells, it's not like they're getting the best of Turner. They are treating him like he is their stepson. I mean, it's 40 and 20. It's 35. If you are one of the best rim protectors in the NBA, Joel Embiid should not be putting up those types of numbers against you. It should be a little bit more subdued effort. And it's not just Embiid. It's Drummond. It's Gobert. It's Steven Adams. You can go down the list.
I mean, it's not like he's acting like Miles Turner with the second-round pick. The way these players are treating Miles Turner when they're putting up, getting 35 and, 17 rebounds, is like me playing against my 10-year-old son in the driveway.
Yeah, they're treating
I'm busting his ass as much as I can. That's what they're doing.
Or something like that.
So and he mentioned yet with Miles Turner. Miles Turner has reached his peak, in my opinion. I don't see how everybody keeps saying he's going to get better. He's going to get better. How much longer are we going to wait for Miles Turner to get better?
And I think, I think Turner is a fine player. But when you have the roster that you have right here in Indiana, you just don't need him at the value that I think other teams need him. So that's probably why I would move him. All right, let's hit a Big O Tires Sports Center update.
The Sports Center update on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan is presented by Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Man, I still can't get over Ryan's call. We should wish to have 1/10 of that energy.
I'm telling you, the texts I've been getting from people about Ryan.
I'm waiting for him to run in the studio right now with the shirt off. Colts back to practice today, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, regular season practice mode for the Colts. Eric Fisher eligible for his first practice as a member of the Colts. A lot of questions. When will he be back? He was asked about potentially, or Marcus Brady, offense coordinator for the Colts, was asked about that potentially happening on Sunday. And I would say the length of Brady's answer here tells you everything you need to know.
We're going to deal with that once we know that he's able to play. We're not there yet. We're getting close, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, pretty short there from the OC. I think Eric Fisher more of a week 2 for my sake, week 3 for Mike Wells' sake with his bet.
I mean, Marcus Brady could at least faked it and said, we'll see how he looks after he gets out on the practice field on Wednesday. Nope, he nipped that in the bud right away and basically said, let's not even talk about him. You're better off talking about Davenport at left tackle right now.
Achilles for 8 months, Wells. I mean, he's still got to get to back-to-back practices, I think, as well. 1 o'clock kick on Sunday on Fox. It's Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, Sarah Walsh. I thought there'd be kind of a better Fox crew than that, frankly. Our airwaves, listen to the game here on The Fan. Matt Taylor, Rick Venturi, and Lara Overton. Seahawks currently a 2.5-point favorite. Over-under hovering right around 50. We mentioned the TJ Warren news earlier. Again, with his left foot rehab not going according to plan, he remains out indefinitely. The Pacers less than 3 weeks away from training camp. October 20th is the season opener there as Warren enters a contract year. Yesterday, Tom Allen joined Dan Dakich on the show, and it's probably a little premature to talk about Michael Penix and him maintaining his quarterback job, but I think it's a fair question at some point to be asked. And here was Tom Allen on Michael Penix and just how long that leash is for him.
There's no question that you have to just, you got to play well, and I expect Michael to bounce back and respond from his disappointing performance. And he and I have had some good hearts-to-hearts already about it. But yeah, we got you got to perform. It's like every position on this team, no matter what it is, you got to play at a level of expectation to allow us to win football games. And so I fully expect Michael to respond in a positive way.
I appreciate that honesty, frankly, from Tom Allen. I think of college coaches, a lot of time you don't get that. It was refreshing to hear, and I don't think Michael Penix should be benched at all, Wells, but he definitely struggled majorly on Saturday. And against Idaho, competition's not going to be great. Against Cincinnati, if he struggles again, you might have a decision to make there.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't think you base how Penix plays production-wise. I think because he needs this game against Idaho has to be a confidence booster for him.
A little slump buster.
Yeah, you expect IU to blast the Vandals. Yes, I know that. I know Idaho's nickname.
Pacific Northwest colleges don't mess around with Mike Wells.
Yes, they're gonna beat the Vandals. Now this is all about Penix getting out there and being efficient, being effective. Because you're right. If he screws up and he struggles against Cincinnati, a very good Cincinnati team down in Bloomington a week from Saturday, you're gonna hear. You're gonna hear from the IU faithful.
Jack Tuttle action could be there. New college poll is out here as we get into, I guess you call it week 3, more of just kind of week 2 fully though. Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Texas A&M is your top 5. Notre Dame at 7. Cincinnati, who plays both IU and Notre Dame, they are at 8. Iowa jumped to 12. Indiana dropped out of the top 25, going from 17 all the way to 7th in receiving votes. So 32nd, I guess, overall there. The big games of the weekend, Ohio State against Oregon. That's at the Horseshoe. I saw that line. I think it's -10, I believe, for Ohio State. Number 3 versus number 11 there. Number 10, Iowa State is hosting number 12, Iowa. The Cyclones -4.5. Boy, that's a great game for the state of Iowa. Have those two rivals.
Bragging rights.
Pairing off big-time bragging rights there. Purdue at the terrible UConn Huskies. They are 4 touchdown favorites. Yes, 4 touchdown favorites for Jeff Brom. Ball State at Penn State. Indiana State at Northwestern. Major League Baseball. Last night, the Reds finally beat the Cubs. The Padres continue to struggle. The Reds need to be sending the Padres a nice gift bag for their struggles here of late. So they are back tied for the second and final wild card spot with about 3 weeks to go here in Major League Baseball. The Phillies lost to the Brewers, so they are 2 back in the wild card. We brought this up earlier. Speaking of Pacific Northwest, Mark Few, a DUI, 9 p.m. On Labor Day Monday. How do you pronounce it, Wells? Coeur d'Alene?
Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Coeur d'Alene, Idaho there. Great golf. That's where Mark Few was at the time of his arrest. .12, I believe, is what the number said on the old blow chart there for Mark Few. And, I'm
just amazed there's great golf out there in Idaho.
Shouldn't be a shock to you.
I'm just saying. I mean,
didn't Chuck Pagano have a house out in Idaho?
Yeah, hey, actually, the Paganos just moved back out to Boise.
Did they?
I saw him during Calhoun's golf outing.
Is Boise close to that at all?
No. Boise's at the southern part of Idaho, and Coeur d'Alene's at the top.
And pretty close to Gonzaga's campus, like half hour, 45 minutes.
Very close.
So, yeah, it looked like a little holiday weekend away for Mark Few. Got the best of the Gonzaga head coach. All right, we come back on the Fan Morning Show. We're going to give Matthew Berry a call, ESPN Fantasy Guru. He's going to join us. We'll push the pop quiz to the final segment of the show. It's Kevin Bowen. It's Mike Wells here on 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
Sports Center updates on The Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Hurry into your local Big O Tires and save up to $190 off a set of Michelin tires. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Back to school, so kids tell your parents about Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month contest, where you could win $100 in a Sprout account. Details at 1075thefan.com.
Valparaiso University is the place for those who strive for a better world. They invite you to think of the world you want to live in. Then come to Valpo and build it. Apply or learn more at valpo.edu.
Hey, it's Big Joe for Payless Liquors, your tailgating headquarters. Half-gallon sizes of Jim Beam White Label are only $26.99. Ron Rico Rum, $13.99. Pop-Off Vodka, $8.99. And Bud Light 15-pack aluminum bottles are only $15.99. Plus, sign up at PaylessLiquors.com for your chance to see Peyton and Edrin get their rings at the Colts-Rams game for the Bud Light Fan Zone. Payless Liquors has 26 family-owned Central Indiana locations, and they're open 7 days a week. Don't pay more, get more, and pay less at Payless Liquors.
Your friends are hosting an online viewing party to watch a soccer match. But if your slow upload speeds were to make you sound like an evil robot...
Pass the ball! Pass the ball!
Whoa, who is that?
I'm sorry.
You're not an evil robot. You just need better internet. AT&T Fiber delivers a faster internet experience with 25 times faster upload speeds than cable. Visit att.com/25 times faster.
Limited availability in select areas based on Internet 1000 wired upload connection speed. First major cable providers 1 gig service with uploads of 35 megabits per second. Restrictions apply.
PNC Bank believes that if your smartwatch can help you avoid overdoing it during a workout, then your bank should be able to help you avoid an overdraft fee. Introducing Low Cash Mode, available with Virtual Wallet, the financial watch out that gives you advance warning, multiple options, and at least 24 hours of extra time to help avoid an overdraft fee. Because we believe how you handle overdrafts should be in your control, not just your bank's. And now through October 12th, earn up to $300 when you open and use a select new virtual wallet product. Simply establish a qualifying direct deposit. To learn more, visit a branch or pnc.com/checking offer. Virtual wallet with low cash mode from PNC Bank. One way we're making a difference. Low Cash Mode is a service mark of the PNC Financial Services Group, Incorporated. Virtual Wallet is a registered trademark of the PNC Financial Services Group, Incorporated. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Of course, she needs a college education, but I don't want her buried in student loans for the rest of her life.
It starts here.
She needs a school with great resources, but some of these campuses are so big.
The School of Health and Human Sciences at IUPUI has the resources of a big university on a campus with a hometown feel. It's a more affordable option with access to career paths in Indy's world-class healthcare and sports entertainment hospitality organizations.
At those big schools, I'm worried she'll just be a number.
Hey, it starts here.
Hey, why not IUPUI?
That's what I was thinking.
A tourism, event, and sport management degree fits detail-oriented individuals who like to call the shots in a fast-paced environment. Hands-on internships plus dedicated professors give the education and professional contacts needed to land an ideal job after graduating.
The School of Health and Human Sciences at IUPUI. It starts here. Learn more at shhs.iupui.edu.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Your home for Indy sports. Now with even more ways to listen.
Listen on air.
Online at 1075thefan.com.
And on our free app.
Stay connected to all things Indy sports, including the latest news, show blogs, and catch up on what you've missed with our podcast.
We're never more than just a click away.
Download our app at Google Play and on the App Store. From your home for Indy sports.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to The Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Welcome back to The Fan Morning Show. Kevin Bowen and Mike Wells. Excited about our next guest. Let's head to the Payless Liquors hotline. ESPN fantasy legend. You've seen him across all airwaves. I've got a connection with them. Mark Wells, Charlie Russell, two of my great friends, helping out Matthew Berry back in the day with the old Fantasy Life app. He is Matthew Berry from ESPN joining us now. Matthew, I know it's a crazy, crazy time for you, busy-wise, so thank you for making a few minutes for us.
My pleasure, guys. Good to get on the air and talk with you guys. Mark and Charlie are old friends.
Matthew, I got to start here. Mark Dykton, our producer in studio, we had a debate last week about the wildest fantasy punishments for finishing last in a league. I'm sure you've heard stories. What is the wildest story you've heard for a punishment for getting last place in fantasy?
Oh, there's so many great ones. You know, I mean, obviously, like just getting a tattoo, right? I mean, because that's permanent, like a permanent rest of your life tattoo. So I've seen a ton of fantasy leagues where the last place loser has to get a tattoo chosen by the winner, and it's always embarrassing, and it's always usually referencing pop culture. I've seen people with tattoos of Justin Bieber that says, you know, hashtag YOLO swag. That, you know, whether it's, I've seen people with tattoos of Drake. I've seen people with tattoos of both Trump and Hillary Clinton, depending on which side of the political fence you're on.
Oh my goodness!
I've seen Joe Exotic. I've seen Left Shark, if you remember from Katy Perry. I've seen a guy that had to get a tattoo of Left Shark. I've seen one guy that had to get a tattoo of me. So
hey, put that on Twitter, please, Matt.
Yes. So it's awkward in terms of like the only two other ones that I'll mention. I could talk about punishments all day, but two other ones that I'll mention that aren't as permanent as that I thought were pretty good was you know, you remember the Game of Thrones scene where they're walking through the streets screaming shame.
Yeah.
So I've seen leagues recreate that where one guy has to dress up basically naked and walk through the streets, whereas the rest of the league dressed up in all, you know, robes and hoods, ringing cowbells and screaming shame after them as they walk through the town. And then another one that I thought was really creative and clever is, you know how like at elementary schools, you have those little 8-foot hoops,
yeah,
you know, that, you know, for little kids. So this league all went to one of those courts with the 8-foot hoops, and the loser of the league had to stand under the basket, and the rest of the league dunked on him.
Oh my! Oh.
And they filmed it, and they all posterized him, and put it on YouTube, set slow music. It's pretty good.
Oh my goodness! Hey Matt, let me ask you this. I get to ask this question all the time. Should people want to select Jonathan Taylor in their fantasy draft based off the fact that the Colts are so deep at the running back spot? Should they still be more inclined to select him?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Jonathan Taylor is going to go in the top 15 picks in any league where people know what they're doing. The concerns, so he's going to be a very productive fantasy running back. Obviously, he ended the season great. Much more involved in the passing game last year than I think people thought he would based on what he did in college. Having said that, there are slight concerns, right, which is the fact that last year all his production came when Marlon Mack was out. And so how much does Marlon Mack, along with obviously Nyheim Hines, cut into his workload? When they get behind, if and when the Colts get behind, how much does Hines cut into target share? Does Taylor come off the field and they just go straight with Hines, or will that be split? Obviously injuries to the offensive line, as I'm sure you guys have been talking about a lot, also are a slight concern. It's still one of the best offensive lines in football. It's still an offense that feels like it's going to be more run heavy than pass heavy, even if Wentz is there starting from week one. So, I have him as a top 12 fantasy running back this year, and I have him a high-end second-round pick. I will tell you most fantasy leagues have him going in the first round, but those slight concerns that I just mentioned are what have him slightly outside the first round for me.
Matthew Berry, ESPN fantasy guru, joining us here on the Fan Morning Show. Well, let's move over to Michael Pittman, Matthew. To me, with the T.Y. Hilton injury, I feel like Pittman's kind of been underdrafted, and maybe I'm just basing that off of a couple drafts I had last week. But I think when you talk a target standpoint, ability to make some plays after the catch, yeah, I think Michael Pittman, could and will be this team's number one wideout.
I agree with you on that. He's being that he definitely be the number one wideout. And then if I'm drafting a Colts wide receiver, Pittman would be my first choice. And certainly the injury to Hilton opens up some opportunity. The concern there is that wide receiver is crazy deep this year, guys. And so you started getting down into that area. And again, if we think they're going to be pass heavy, we think the Colts are going to have a really good defense, and they're not going to get into a ton of shootouts this year. Carson Wentz traditionally has been more of a spread the ball around type quarterback. So does Michael Pittman get the same kind of target share that other number one wide receivers do when you think about the tight ends, when you think about dumping up to the running backs, when you think about, Pascal and Paris Campbell and, all the other guys that the Colts have? There's no question about his talent, and the upside is certainly there. But, yeah, I would agree with you that generally speaking about like in sort of fantasy circles, Pittman is not one of the guys that goes off the board earlier than later, based on sort of fantasy sleeper. So there's certainly some upside there, but I think that's partially the reason why.
Matthew, it's Mark. You said Jonathan Taylor was in your top 12, but not your top 10. Of the running back position, top 10 guys, who has the biggest concern in your mind?
I think it's Saquon Barkley, right? So for me, here's the thing on Saquon. We know he's a talented player, right? He's insanely talented. He's very good. He's going to get a lot of work. The concerns on Saquon here is, at least on ESPN, he's going in the top 5 overall. And that's really rich when you consider we still don't know officially if he's going to play week 1. It's looking like he will, but we still don't know officially that he's going to play week 1. They're talking about limited snaps, especially because they're the Thursday night game in week 2, so they're not going to want to really, extend him a ton given the short turnaround. He's coming off of a torn ACL, a torn MCL, and a meniscus. Like, it's a serious injury there for Saquon Barkley. The concerns about their offensive line are very real. People forget that last year, before he got injured, Saquon Barkley had 34 yards on 19 carries. 34 for 19. Like, he was bad last year. Again, super small sample size, but 34 for 19 is not inspiring. So I think those offensive line issues are still there. And the last thing, guys, is does Saquon have the explosiveness this year that he has previously? Or coming off that ACL, does it take him a while to work back up that explosiveness? In his career, in games in which Barkley does not have a rushing attempt of 25 yards or more. Okay, so in games in which he doesn't have at least one 25-yard or more rushing attempt, he's averaging 3.3 yards per carry. the big play, the explosiveness of Barkley is an important aspect of his fantasy game. And if that's limited, again, there's just a lot of slight concerns there that, he's not somebody I would want in the first 5 picks.
Matthew Berry, senior fantasy football analyst for ESPN, joined us here on the Fan Morning Show. Matthew, curious just your opinion on roster construction. When you see teams draft, how much is it? Oh, whatever the board says, I'm following the board. How long do you wait for a quarterback? Do you have any kind of core beliefs when you're putting together a fantasy team?
I mean, more about just sort of letting the draft come to you and constructing the best possible team. But yeah, I mean, listen, I think you want to go running back early. Last year, there were only 9 running backs that got 250 or more touches. So trying to get at least one bell cow running back, I think, is important. I think wide receiver is deep this year, so I'm waiting on wide receiver. I certainly don't mind one in the first or second round. There are guys worth that. But in general, I've been going running back in the first round, second round, trying to either second running back, maybe a tight end like a Kittle or a Waller, and then pounding wide receiver rounds 3 through 5. I think you can wait on wait on quarterback as usual, but not wait that long. Last year, 8 of the top 10 quarterbacks had at least 200 yards rushing. So I think it's important to get a quarterback that gives you points with his arms and his legs. So getting those dual threat quarterbacks, and there's a finite amount of them. So those are some of my core beliefs. Solid early, upside late. You obviously want to chase upside. Look, I'll give you an example. Last night I did a 10-team draft, and I certainly didn't expect this, but I did what I just said. I went running back in the first 2 rounds. I went Austin Eckler and Antonio Gibson. It was a 12-team league. And by the time it came back around, the best wide receiver for me was CeeDee Lamb. Great, got CeeDee Lamb. Next round, best available wide receiver to me was Amari Cooper. Okay, so I grabbed Amari Cooper. And then in the 5th round, I really wanted a quarterback, and the best available – in the 6th round, I wanted a quarterback, and the best available quarterback to me was Dak Prescott. No, so I just said, you know what? Let's do a Cowboy stack. Why not? I didn't set out to have the Cowboys passing attack, but that's sort of how the board fell to me. That's who I thought was the best possible lineup for me. So I went for it. I think that'll be a fun team to watch.
I can't believe I'm going to ask this question, Matt, but how much do you take into consideration the vaccination status of a player in fantasy draft? And I ask that especially from a coach perspective. Carson Wentz is unvaccinated, so who knows what could happen with the close contact and potentially missing some games this season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, as you know, you guys have reported on. Listen, the COVID situation is different for unvaccinated players versus vaccinated players in terms of the punishments, in terms of the ability to get back on the field. Like it's different, it's harsher, and so it's certainly something that I keep in the back of my mind. I use it probably more as a tiebreaker than anything else. It's just so hard to predict, because we've seen unvaccinated players so far not miss any time. We've seen some people that are vaccinated be put on the COVID list. So we're in unprecedented times, and trying to predict something that we just don't have a ton of data on in terms of how often somebody gets something or doesn't get it, or is really hard. It's a fair question. I will say, in general, I think leagues need to be set up with multiple IR spots that are COVID list eligible, because I think we're in for a weird year. And I've had a lot of very smart people say to me, this year is actually going to be worse in terms of players missing time and challenges in playing the game with COVID than last year, based on a number of factors, including unvaccinated players and including the NFL's new guidelines.
Matthew, we'll end with this, and thank you again for your time. It is week 1. A lot of teams and leagues have already been drafted. You got anybody on the waiver wire in a 10 or 12-man league that you feel like was a surprise to see go undrafted? Maybe the Dobbins situation or the Cam Akers situation has turned that guy into a more of a prominent role.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some guys out there. I mean, listen, Trey Lance and Justin Fields are both undrafted in over 50% of ESPN leagues, along with Ryan Fitzpatrick. All three are guys that I think have high upside. Obviously, Lance and Fields aren't starters yet, but when they do, I think watch out. So those are guys that I would want to grab and stash on my bench right now, especially Trey Lance. Listen, you mentioned, talk about New Orleans for a second. Marquez Callaway. has obviously had a very exciting preseason with Michael Thomas being placed on the physically unable to perform list and being out 6 weeks. Marquez Callaway is somebody that is, sort of risen up draft charts and should be draft fees available more than 50% of ESPN leagues. Same with Jacoby Myers. Now that Mac Jones has been named the starter, I certainly feel better about Mac Jones. I feel better about Jacoby Myers and the passing attack of the Patriots than I did with Cam Newton under center. So I think that's interesting. And then, just in terms of running backs, staying in New Orleans, Tony Jones is now the backup to Kamara. He'll have some standalone value, but also he's important insurance for Alvin Kamara with the release of Latavius Murray yesterday. You mentioned Baltimore, Tyson Williams with the J.K. Dobbins. I'm not really worried about Le'Veon Bell. So those are some of the guys that sort of pop in terms of initial guys that are available in more than 50% of ESPN leagues.
No one does it better in the fantasy world than Matthew Berry, again, senior fantasy football analyst, Fantasy Life book, as well as the Fantasy Life app, which I mentioned earlier as well. Again, Matthew, I know it's a super, super busy time, so thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, guys. Good luck this season.
That's Matthew Berry right there on the Payless Liquors hotline. Mark will have that podcast up within the next hour. We come back on the Fan Morning Show, pop quiz time, a little bit later than usual. 317-239-1070. Give us a ring and try your luck at Scotty J in the pop quiz here on the Fan Morning Show.
Bet Rivers Sportsbook is ready to make this football season one to remember. All season long, you can score at Bet Rivers Sportsbook with free bets, odds boosts, and more. With player props, thousands of game lines, and live in-game betting, Bet Rivers Sportsbook delivers a best-in-class sports betting experience and has an experienced customer service team to back it up. Visit Bet Rivers Sportsbook today and bet this football season with the local trusted team that puts you first. Go to BetRivers.com and be a winner. Partner of French Lick Casino Resort. Must be 21 or over to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448. Playable only in Indiana.
The most important financial decision you'll make isn't picking the next hot stock or fund manager. It's choosing the right financial advisor. How do you pick the advisor that's right for you? Find out in a special encore presentation of our virtual event with Rick Edelman on Tuesday, September 14th at 3 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. It's free. Register at EdelmanFinancialEngines.com. You'll get advice on how to select the right financial advisor, and you'll get a list of the 11 questions to ask before hiring one. Take this list with you when you interview financial advisors, and if you already have one, use the checklist to evaluate if they are right for you. You will get all the information you need, and Rick will make it fun and entertaining. It's free, so register right now for a special encore presentation of our virtual event on September 14th at 3 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. Register at EdelmanFinancialEngines.com. That's EdelmanFinancialEngines.com.
Is it time for a job change? This may be what you're looking for. Coca-Cola Consolidated Whitestown is having a 2-day on-the-spot hiring event Friday, September 10th, noon to 8 p.m. and Saturday, September 11th, 8 a.m. to noon at 3690 South 500 East, Whitestown. Positions available for Class A CDL drivers, driver trainees. We'll provide training to obtain Class A CDL, driver helpers, merchandisers, and warehouse. 2-day on-the-spot hiring event Friday and Saturday, September 10th and 11th at Coca-Cola Consolidated, 3690 South 500 East, Whitestown.
Hey, JMV business owners, are you feeling the pressures of running your business? There's a limit to what you can do and still keep employees engaged. Insperity can help. They put 30-plus years of HR experience to work to help you with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance while giving your employees competitive benefit options. And because you're able to focus on other priorities, your employees can thrive and your business can grow. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Full-service HR, employee benefits, HR technology, Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
This is Unibet, one of Europe's leading betting apps. And this is Nigel.
Hello.
Nigel has just been promoted from head of Unibet Europe to head of Unibet US. Nigel doesn't know anything about American sports.
QB Scramble. That's some sort of American frittata?
Download the app or visit in.unibet.com. Get $500 risk-free and take advantage of the odds before Nigel figures them out. Unibet. Crazy about the odds.
Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
There's never been a better time to switch to Spectrum Mobile. You could save hundreds of dollars on your mobile bill. Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, and no contracts. Try the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator today, and in 3 easy steps, you'll see how much you could save by switching. Visit SpectrumMobile.com/save. Spectrum Internet required. Savings may vary. Restrictions apply. Visit spectrummobile.com/save for details.
Honey, we're gonna make it.
We're gonna make it? We're gonna make it!
I just said that.
We're gonna make it!
Fill your tank with Amoco Ultimate with Invigorate and keep on moving. Amoco Ultimate with Invigorate at BP and Amoco stations.
When you sign up for BP Me Rewards, you can get 5 cents off every gallon of gas every time at BP or Amoco stations. That means more savings and more whatever you'd like to use your savings on. So treat yourself. It's on us. Visit bp.com/save to learn more.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, let your senses be your guide. Follow the incredible aroma of outdoor dining under a starlit night, or see the sunset over the Gulf, painting a magnificent orange and red sky. Feel the gentle breeze on a leisurely stroll along the new St. Pete Pier, or let every sense come alive at the Salvador Dali Museum. Sounds like it's time for a fall getaway. You can sense it. Plan your fall escape to America's best beaches at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Listen on air, online at 1075thefan.com, and on our free app at Google Play and on the App Store. Have you studied? Can you handle the pressure? Sharpen your pencils. It's time for the Fan Morning Show's Pop Quiz with Kevin Bowen. Brought to you by Jiffy Lube, Indiana's favorite oil change since 1985.
With Matthew Berry, the fantasy expert, joining us last segment. Pop quiz now slides into this slot. Mike Wells, give us a number 1 through 8.
I went 1 yesterday, so let's slide up to 5.
5. Who we got, Mark?
Tommy.
Tommy.
What's up, Kevin? How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good.
All right, Wells, you want to hit with number 1?
Question number 1. Pete Alonso of the Mets hit his 100th career home run last night. It took Alonso just 347 games to reach the century mark, the second fewest games to reach 100 homers in Major League history. Name the only player to reach 100 home runs in fewer games than Alonso. A. Ralph Kiner. B. Aaron Judge. C. Ryan Howard. D. Gary Sanchez.
Let's go Ralph Kiner.
All right, number 2, Nelson Cruz of the Rays hit his 30th home run of the season last night. Cruz is just the second player in Major League history to hit 30 or more homers when beginning a season at age 40 or older. Who is the other? Big Papi, David Ortiz, Barry Bonds, Hank Aaron, or the Juicer? Well, maybe a lot of them are Juicers. Rafael Palmeiro.
Go Hank Aaron.
Question number 3. Ole Miss quarterback Matt Corral threw a touchdown pass for the 13th game in a row in their win over Louisville on Monday night. The 13-game streak is tied for the 3rd longest in school history. Who holds the record for most consecutive games with the touchdown pass for Ole Miss? Archie Manning?
Go
ahead. If you want to go ahead and guess.
Whoa, Tommy.
I'll just guess Eli, but he's not an option.
What? Hey, read him the options.
Yeah.
You might want the options.
You might want the options.
Right, yeah.
Archie Manning, Eli Manning, John Forcade, or Chad Kelly.
Swag.
Chad Kelly's me my second option. Let's go Chad Kelly.
Swag. Let's go. Number 4, the defending Super Bowl champs, the Bucks, host the Cowboys in tomorrow night's NFL season opener. Since the NFL started featuring the Super Bowl champs in the Thursday night season opener back in 2004, the defending champs are 13-3 in the opener. Name the last defending Super Bowl winner to lose its Thursday night opening game the following season. A, the Ravens. B, the Chiefs. C, the Patriots. D, the Giants.
Giants.
All right, question number 5. On this day in 1985, Cincinnati's Pete Rose tied Ty Cobb's all-time Major League hit record of 41-91. Where did Rose collect his record-tying hit? Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati? That horrible stadium called Wrigley Field in Chicago?
How dare you? Whoa.
Veterans Stadium in Philly? Or Olympic Stadium in Montreal?
Let's go the Veterans Stadium.
Veterans Stadium? All right, Tommy. Boy, Mark Dyke, the look on his face.
I don't feel bad with what's about to happen. Now, Mike, I don't feel bad at all.
Oh, uh-oh. Sounds like a warning shot. All right, Pete Alonso of the Mets hit his 100th career homer last night. Took 347 games for Pete Alonso to reach that mark, the second fewest in Major League history. Name the only other player to reach 100 homers in fewer games than Alonso. He said Ralph Kiner. The answer was
Ryan Howard.
You blew it!
You don't get to come back tomorrow. You don't even get a lousy copy of our home game. You're a complete loser.
You lose! Good day, sir!
Tony, get your bag and get the hell out of here.
You and Mark are double teaming me. Marky, man, how you gonna play me like that?
Are you choking over there, Wells?
Man,
I debated doing it, and then you dropped the Wrigley Field shot, and I'm like, okay.
Oh,
gloves
my
are off
goodness.
now.
Well,
Hey.
you got to know. That's a sneaky man running the board over
and
there.
here's my thing. Bowen knows his firsthand. You may come in with a jab, but I'm gonna land the haymaker in the next round.
I don't know. Mark gets the last word. He's got a lot of audio over there at his disposal. Tommy guessed Hank Aaron knows David Ortiz, the other age 40 or older player to hit at least 30 home runs in a season. Matt, it was Swag Kelly. How about that, Wells? Shout out to Swag. Where do you think he is these days?
Probably crashing a frat party or something.
22 straight games, the touchdown pass. That old Miss quarterback. We saw him in the bowl game. He is pretty fun to watch. The Patriots, the last defending Super Bowl winner to lose Thursday night game. I remember that a few years back against Kansas City, 42-27. Patriots loss in Foxborough. And then it was Wrigley Field.
That dump of Wrigley Field.
Man, Wells, have you been there?
Have you been there since they renovated it?
No. I only needed to go one time. That's it.
Oh, jeez.
Was that covering the Twins? Interleague,
No,
or what was
actually,
that?
it was interleague, but it was Cubs against the A's. I just went up there when I was living in Minnesota, drove over to check it out. Been there, done it. Don't need to go back.
Wow. So, yeah, Wrigley Field where Pete Rose collect his record-tying hits. Again, thank you to Matthew Berry and Stephen Holder. We had them on earlier. Mark will have the podcast up within the next hour or so. Wells, Colts practice today. Big news, obviously, number 2 and number 56.
Yes. I think all eyes will be on number 2, and then all eyes will be on number 2 tomorrow and 56 to see how they handled a full gore practice. And let's be real, the injury report will come. First injury report of the year will come out this afternoon. We'll see where Wentz and Nelson are listed, if there'll be full participants, limited participants, or if for some odd reason Frank Wright says they're not going to practice today.
Yeah, as long as they practice and then practice again tomorrow, I think they're going week 1, right?
Oh, yeah.
Injury report wise, we probably should watch Kenny Moore just because, he got a little banged up at the start of Monday's practice. And then Eric Fisher, we'll see exactly where he falls on the injury report as well. Tomorrow we got to get into our predictions.
I cannot wait.
So we got to go Seattle prediction for you because you won't be on, and then we got to go season prediction.
Well, I already picked the Seahawks this weekend. I did that today. I cut to the front of the line and cheated on that one. But season prediction.
You got close games Sunday?
Close game. And I'm going to tell you right now, my season prediction is not going to be what Stephen Holder did. Stephen Holder sat there and bobbed and weaved for the longest time until we backed him into the corner and finally said, you got to give a prediction, because he didn't listen when I said, you can't run away from it.
Hey,
Put you on the spot.
Steve was just explaining himself
Ain't
very
nobody
well
got no damn time to be listening to explanations. Just say how many wins, playoffs or not.
We'll get into a little bit more on the Carson Wentz front, just his individual season, what to expect from that as well. Mike DeCourcy will be on with us, talk a little bit of college sports. Of course, a busy week there, not just team-wise, conference-wise as well. And then Zach Kiefer on Thursday.
We're talking golf tomorrow. Can we use the whole segment?
Hey, we got Ryder Cup picks coming in a half hour.
Hey, because I've been
Kevin Na on the team or not?
No.
Kevin Kisner on the team or not?
Yes.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna tell you right now.
Hey,
I've been
we gotta
good.
go.
I've been good talking golf.
Mike Wells right there. Kevin Bowen, Fan Morning Show. Join us tomorrow, 7 a.m. right here on The Fan.